What up, world? Y'all already know what time it is. The boy Matt is the host of the most limited to bag no boast. All we ever did was give a toast to the real folks who done paved the way in the real way for us players to play and parlay this great game that we got for y'all today. And I got my right hand with me as usual. WY in the building. What's happening, player? You
I
already know.
can't call it. I can't call it.
We're back with another installment. So
Straight.
38 spesh offered Jadakiss to battle for half a mil. It's been 24 hours. Where he at? Where he at with it? I can't see Jadakiss nowhere. We need to put out APB. You know what I'm saying? We need to know the whereabouts of Jadakiss. Because he's been MIA. I think he's alright. But yeah, man, the whole way they're going about this whole thing on both sides is kind of goofy still, you know? Because if you
Yeah.
want to battle a man, you just battle him, dog, you know? Come out
Right.
with a just that, and you just you back. Don't be like, oh, I had the best verse on the song, blah, blah, blah. And kids don't want to rap no more because he's older, so you don't have that competitive spirit. So, you know, just two sides to the equation on both sides. But I feel like 38 ain't playing these industry games, you know? That's why these niggas got get caught up with the soft, you know what I mean?
You're saying 38 is the one playing industry games or he's not playing industry games?
Not playing industry games. Here's
Okay.
why I say that. Because the industry, they're gonna go around, talk behind their back, go around, make phone calls and shit like that, instead
Yeah.
of tell you exactly what you want in your face. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
to make it look like a spectacle, when everybody look like oh look, nobody wants to work with you, but it's really gatekeeping and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Barriers and all that, which is the wackest shit in the world. They do that in the streets too a lot, you know? When they see
Yeah.
young niggas coming up that's hungry, they're trying to do their thing, you know? Well, at the end of the day, it's like, it's hip hop, bro. There's no rules to this shit, you know?
Right. Definitely ain't nothing new to it. But ain't nothing changed but the players in the game, man. You know what I mean? So that's where all the differences happen and I guess all the selective
My
politics
bad, y'all.
and
I had a little technical difficulty. And we back at it. You hear me?
yeah, yeah.
Shit. You hear me? You hear me now?
Yep. Well, it be like that sometimes, man. You see when man them start talking that talk, they
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
throw
yeah.
a stick in the spokes, right?
It's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it thorough. I'll keep
Damn.
refreshing the page until we get it right.
Can't hear you, fam. Hold up. Let me come back.
So that's what I'm saying. 38 Special has the right to say that these niggas is soft because they playing little industry games and they ain't what the industry's about. Hip hop's about
Yep.
competition, going at each other, you know what I'm saying? Mano a mano, you know? You
Who
hear me?
got what to say?
You hear me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
And if you can't be a man about yours and stand on your own too and battle it out without the you know what I'm saying?
It's time to gracefully bow out.
We're not gracefully bow out, but be real about it, you know what I'm saying? Just be real. That's all I'm asking. 38 wants a battle, he put money on the table. Y'all ain't answering, but y'all talk about watch out for the militias and the landmines and shit like that. Now, a nigga that's really in the streets that is grinding is that would have took that a different way. You know what I'm saying? So Jadakiss put out a thing talking about watch out for the things in the landmines. And then he said, oh, he was talking about his uncle that was locked up. But what I'm saying is like that don't you just trying to be sneaky with it, because you just following what Fat Joe's saying, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's just lame shit because everybody can see. It's plain as day. You wanted Jadakiss, and then y'all had to jump in on the sly
Right.
doing a track with somebody from his borough and trying to play the industry games. Which that don't fly around real niggas. You know what I'm saying? So this is what 38 Special I have to say about them.
All right, let's hear that.
Fair use, fair use.
Oh, Fat Joe or Jada? At this time right now, which one you dislike the most? I, I don't really got. Or Jim Jones. It seems like you really dislike. I dislike Jim Jones. Like I'm a little disappointed in Fat Joe and Jada. I okay with that for them. You know what I'm saying? But I dislike Jim. He did some sucker shit. Fat Joe, I don't really like him either, talking all that tough shit. I don't like him either. Fuck him too. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, oh, Fat Joe or Jada, at this time right now, which one you dislike the most? I I don't really got or Jim Jones. It seems like you really Jim Jones. I dislike Jim Jones. Like I'm a little disappointed in Fat Joe and Jada. I okay really know for them. You know what I'm saying? But I dislike Jim. He did some sucker shit. Fat Joe, I don't really like him either, talking all that tough shit. I don't like him either. Fuck him too. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, oh, Fat Joe or Jada, at this time right now, which one you dislike the most? I I don't really got. Or Jim Jones, it seems like you really dislike. I dislike Jim Jones. Like I'm a little disappointed in Fat Joe and Jada. I okay little more for them. You know what I'm saying? But I dislike Jim. I dislike Jim. He did some sucker shit. Fat Joe, I don't really like him either.
So you see, you don't like
Bedtime.
you don't like Jim Jones, and I see why. Them
Yeah.
niggas is them niggas is losers, dog. Let's be honest, bro.
Jim Jones talking all that, oh, I'm better than Nas shit, all this bullshit, and now you playing industry game. Why ain't even get in the booth? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Somebody gotta come with some bars.
Yeah, Special already spat his bar, you know? It's a light job, but it was still something to make a whole video about, you know? So you can't hate on that.
Nope. And he put the whole city on too.
So check this out.
He
This is
brought
what he's
out
talking
all the
about.
troopers.
This is like him talking to 050 and Nolan. I respect.
Sean. Oh my God.
Listen, literally, I can't take nothing away from kids. I never said that. Why would I act like I'll be a damn lie? Just raise us all if you in my age group. That's all right. Let's get that shit understood. Like, this ain't nothing to take away from this. What about Joe? Joe makes great music. Since I was a kid, Joe always knew how to make a record. The right artist get with Joe, and they gonna have a good body for work. I can say that about him. Period. I respect the truth. Listen, right? And I would never play or take away from anybody's talent. And I don't want weak competition. I'm not going at niggas that can't do this shit on high levels and shit. You know? And it's respect. You heard? Like, it's respect for niggas' talent. You heard? Falls all that other shit, niggas' blood. So do you think Joe don't got talent? Or he just. Nah, that nigga got his own. He just had a ball spitter. I said that. That nigga got talent. That nigga, first off, he's the most improved rapper. Let's get that shit understood. Honestly. And he got one of the best beat selections in NYC when it comes to picking beats. That still ain't got shit to do with balls. That shit still ain't got nothing to do with being witty. I get busy on a different level. My shit is different. But I can't take away nothing them niggas do, and they can't take away nothing that I do. You know? I want to talk about upstate, Buffalo and Rochester. Y'all had your own little rivals. Like, I used to live in Buffalo at one time. Um, who's actually is looked at as like, I ain't gonna say the king of Buffalo, but I love Conway the Machine. Then you got Benny. And it's you. Then you got West Side Gun. So it's actually not from Buffalo. I'm not from Buffalo, bro. Let's get this on. So Rochester. I'm from Rochester. Let's get that shit understood. I'm not from Buffalo. You heard? So as far as upstate. Okay. As far as upstate, what? Like, who do you look at that holding the torch? Like in New York, we look at Jadakiss and Jay-Z. Who do you look at? Bro, I don't look at nobody. You understand me? Like, I've been doing this shit. I was the first one from upstate doing this shit. I was the first one driving. I was the first one rapping. I was the first one putting out music. I was the first one spending his money on music. I came in this game back when nobody had money. Everybody would agree on this. And I was spending my own money on this shit. Buying beats from Primo, Deep Rock, working on an album with G Rap, putting money in, the hip hop community independently. Shit, a long time ago, 16, 17 years ago type shit. You understand me? If Biggie come from there, is it true Biggie came from basically started off with you? He was signed to me before it was over. Oh, okay. Okay. See, a lot of us didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah. He was signed to me before it was over. You know what I'm saying? I started City back in 2014. That's history right there. That's history, right? It's just, shout out to Dirty, that's my bro. You know, he it's always been a good working relationship with Cat. That's real. And how your relationship is with Conway? See, I met Conway through them. Okay, okay. But me and Conway got history too. Like we got history too. Like, there's stories that Conway could tell you about way before anybody knew who he was. They'll tell you about me. And you know what I'm saying? I'm the only one that I didn't know. Only one that I didn't know was West Side Gun. I never knew. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just starting to hear about West Side Gun. I wasn't too tapped into him, but I'm just starting to hear about it. Comment section. Put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section. Put it in the comments.
So now, are these guys in the gatekeep? I just keep them at bay?
It's round for round. 3 verses. Round for round.
Let's listen.
It's round for round. 3 verses. Round for round. That's it. And we handle this like minute in the ring. All of that back and forth shit. I got 500,000 ones. We could do 3 rounds in the ring, 3 verses. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the cash, half back, you'll put it up with real paperwork with my name on it. If it was, right? I'm so hated that shit would have been. My name is my name. I can't change that. That's other information. When it comes to 38 Spesh and this whole kiss situation, this back and forth has officially jumped off the rails. Now everybody is yelling paperwork party, and the pressure is getting serious today. But did Terror Squad make a major mistake? One of Fat Joe's people from Terror Squad Miami, known as KAR, stepped forward demanding paperwork, 24 hours. Now 38 Spesh is firing back, calling it fake and making one thing clear. My name is my name. But Spesh did not stop there. He also put a huge challenge directly on Kiss's table. $500,000, half a ticket, to meet him on stage for 3 rounds, 3 verses, and 3 legendary judges. He named Cool G, Rap, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane. That is not regular internet talk. That is a serious rap showdown with real money and hip-hop legends attached. So what does Kiss do now? Does he accept the challenge, prove his point, and settle this with bars? Or does he ignore it and let people keep talking? There's a whole lot to unpack. Welcome back to Drip Sound. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your bell notifications because this situation is getting wilder by the minute. I gotta be real. Justin Harris, better known as 38 Spesh, does not look like he is slowing down. If anything, he is picking up right where he left off and turning the pressure even higher. And look, this is hip hop. So I do not want to hear people in the comments asking, how does this benefit Kiss and this and that? That is not the point. 38 fans just put a $500,000 battle on the table. 3 rounds, 3 verses, and 3 respected judges watching every ball. He is not playing around. And honestly, I respect the move. He is calling out legendary names, and even though Spesh came up through the underground, he has veteran experience too. He wants Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and Cool G Rap judging the battle. Come on, that lineup is as official as it gets. Now Spesh believes he is the best, and he is ready to prove it in front of everybody. So if Kiss truly feels he is better, this should be easy money, right? I gotta let you hear exactly what 38 Spesh had to say. Pay attention. I cannot lie. I like what the young man is doing. I like what Rochester is bringing to the table because the pressure is now on Kiss. Most fans believe Kiss is better than 38 Spesh. Let us call it what it is. If that is the case, should this not be easy money for Kiss? That is the question now. Is Kiss going to accept what 38 Spesh is putting on the table or leave that challenge sitting there? Spesh is willing to put his money where his mouth is, and that changes the conversation. For weeks, people in the industry have been saying he cannot beat Kiss. Kiss is way better than 38 Spesh. But now Spesh is putting up $500,000 to prove his point. 3 verses, 3 judges, and 3 old school legends deciding the winner. Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and Cool G Rap. You cannot ask for a more respected panel than that. If everybody is so sure Kiss is better, why not step on stage, collect the money, and make it look easy right there in front of everybody? What are we really talking about here? This is competition. This is hip hop. And this is exactly what fans have been asking to see. Bring that raw energy back and make the culture feel exciting again. A battle like this could flip the rap conversation upside down. I already know some people are going to say 38 Spesh is not big enough. Why should Kiss even respond? But let us keep it real. $500,000 is life changing money, and Spesh is willing to put up cash. We all know Kiss can match that number, so why not make it happen? I would love to see these men step into that ring and settle it with bars. That is what hip hop is built on. But is Kiss too established to entertain this challenge? Or does his legacy mean he has nothing left to prove? Because let us be honest, Kiss is accomplished. And plenty of people will say he does not owe 38 Spesh any response at all. Still, the fans will watch every second. So what do you think? Should Kiss accept the battle, collect that money, and prove the difference? Or should he ignore it completely? Come better than never, bro. Let me get to that. I respect that. Yeah. I want to ask you something else. Would you would you like to be on the same stage with Jim Jones or Jadakiss and y'all, you know what I'm saying, hash this out? Yeah, so check this, right? This is what I want to say right here, right? Check this. Jada want to do something, we ain't got to go back and forth, right? I got $500,000 on me right now. We could do 3 verses on stage, round for round, 3 verses, round for round. That's it. And we handle this like man in the ring. All of that back and forth shit. I got 500,000 on me. We could do 3 rounds in the ring, 3 verses. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the cash, have Fat Joe put it up, nigga. You heard me? No, seriously. No, I respect that. I respect that. And that's how we can handle that. If not, then we ain't gotta go with the back and forth shit, throw shots on other niggas' records. Tell him before he dissed me on the song that or did with that he don't own. You know, we could go and put up some cash and do this the right way. I gotta have a ticket on myself. We could do this in the ring with no crowd because it's in a popularity contest. 3 judges. We could have G-Rap, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane as the judges, homies. Woo! This shit all the way hip hop. Get in the comment section and let me know where you stand. But it does not stop there because we also have to look at what changed from the Terror Squad side. Much respect to the crew, but they may have made a serious mistake by taking this beyond music. After Fat Joe called on people around him, a Miami-based Terror Squad affiliate stepped forward. with informant allegations aimed at 38 spesh. Those claims have not been proven, but the message was loud. Spesh supposedly had 24 hours to answer. That part matters because this was not just some random page chasing attention. These men say they are connected to terror squad, move around the camp, and are standing firmly behind what they posted. Once people start attaching names, prison sentences, and old street stories to a rap feud, the whole situation becomes much more sensitive. At that point, it is no longer only about who had the better verse. The affiliate then challenged Spesh directly, saying, "Tell me who Tyrone Members is and why he got 65 years in jail in the early 2000s. The whole Rochester, aka The Rock, and people from that era know why Tyrone got 65 years, but I want 38 to tell them." Again, that is his allegation, not a confirmed fact. Still, he did not leave it online. He went outside, addressed 38 spesh on camera, and made it clear he publicly wanted an answer. Pay attention because this is where the paperwork talk really starts getting messy. I'm going to keep it real. I looked over the paperwork, and the name attached to it does not appear to be 38 spesh. The name showing up is Harold, and according to Spesh, that is his cousin, not him. That is a huge difference because once somebody throws around an informant label, details have to match before people start stamping it as fact. I have people who dig into these situations too. When paperwork starts circulating, my team checks names, dates, case details, and anything else that can separate facts from internet noise. So now the question is simple. Did the terror squad side move too fast? Because 38 Spesh is addressing those documents and he is saying it's fake. It ain't real. Pay close attention to what Spesh says next. These were serious allegations, but he still has not released his paperwork yet. The other side gave him 24 hours, and now his people are digging through everything. Still, was it a mistake to post those claims before confirming whose name was on the document? That is where Miami may have crossed the line. They presented the paperwork like it proves Spesh was an informant. But if the name belongs to somebody else, the whole accusation starts falling apart fast. Now, this man is calling 38 Spesh an informant across social media. But my team says the documents do not line up. Just that, whatever your name is, 38 Spesh, whatever your name is, right? It's got 24 hours to let you know when Tyrone finishes. It's got 24 hours for 55 years on school. Because of that, aka Rochester, right? It's got 24 hours to start. So here's our home. Then he goes to Tyrone's membership and came back on the first sheet. He's taxed the grade and some case for hospital. And for early 2000, I need to know what that is. It's got 24 hours to start. Yeah, it's here. It's no problem. Let me know what y'all membership. So I gotta see things. The first names are different. The details point toward Rochester, and the paperwork online may not even belong to Spesh. I have the documents, but I did not post them because the names did not match, and I refuse to present shaky information as confirmed. My guy searches court websites, checks case numbers, compares names, and digs through every available record before speaking on something this serious. Based on what he found, my team does not believe the terror squad Miami side has the correct paperwork. That means the documents being circulated cannot fairly be used as proof against 38 Spesh. This is exactly why jumping into the paperwork game without checking every detail can backfire fast. The bigger problem is that false accusations can damage somebody's name, while the people spreading them may face no real consequences. 38 special, right? Got 24 hours. They hit that, right? Tell me what y'all rules in the city. Okay, right? Tell me what y'all rules in the city, right? You came back down on a person, right? Got in jail. That's coming against him, right? I want to know who that is. I want you to tell me who that is. That's 38. 38 special. What do your name is? got 24 hours to let me know who that nigga is. On to the next step. That man called 65 years behind the wall. Let me know who that nigga is, man. You know what I'm saying? He called 65 years, Young Rock, aka Rochester, right? Let me know who that dude is. He was 65 years, man. Not looking good. He passed away. Let me know who that is, man. All right? These men already have money, platforms, and influence. So once a claim starts moving, it can reach thousands of people before the truth catches up. Then people are left saying, damn, Fat Joe, you got the militia on this man, but they were wrong. That is why this should have stayed about music and competition. The original challenge was simple. Step on stage, trade verses, and let the bars decide it. Spesh is saying, I'm better than you, and I believe I'm better than you, and I'm willing to put money up behind myself. That is the battle people came to see, not unverified paperwork taking over the whole conversation. But trying to damage somebody's name over unverified paperwork is where this situation starts looking reckless. Miami, what are we doing here? I'm holding back my final opinion until the documents are released. Because right now the details do not appear to match. Until everything is verified, nobody should be treating these allegations like confirmed facts. Hey, paperwork for you. How do you feel about this? Where do you think this is coming from? Hey man, listen here, man. I'm just a hood legend that they can't really say nothing bad about. So you go through this shit when you're a type of nigga like me. Ain't no real paperwork with my name on it, huh? If it was, right, I'm so hated that shit would have been. My name is my name. I can't change that. That shit public information. Man. Y'all could go Google my name 110 times, man. That don't mean shit. Y'all know my name ain't connected to nothing. File. I smacked rats. It's video footage of me smacking the shit out of a rat 15 times. He's really a rapper. He really was a rap nigga that was, you know, around. But come on, homie. Like I did my time. See, you niggas ain't never. You be the niggas that call niggas rat. Never even been through nothing. Never been through nothing. They never even been through a situation where they had to rat all the niggas. Like you talking to a nigga, bro, that's been investigated for petty shit inside an interrogation room. My nigga, it's documented how I walked out. You talking to a nigga that went and did time, homie. So how you feel about Miami? Because he's part of Fat Joe. I feel like it's corny. Meanwhile, 38 Spesh is not slowing down. He still wants the battle, and he is offering Kiss $500,000 to step on stage and prove who is better. If Kiss and his supporters truly believe this is an easy victory, then that should be easy money. From a pure hip hop angle, there should be no reason to turn down that kind of challenge. But the informant accusation never needed to go this far. Once people start trying to stain somebody's reputation with questionable documents, the conversation stops being about music and turns into something far more damaging. And what happens if the paperwork is wrong? Usually, nothing. Everybody keeps moving while the accusation stays online. I do not make the news. I just break it down. So get in the comment section and tell me, was Terror Squad out of pocket for pushing paperwork before confirming the name? Or do you believe there is more evidence coming? If the paperwork really belongs to a cousin, then that changes the entire story. That's not it, Brody. I reread that. Double check that too. That's not it. That's his cousin, though. His cousin name on there when I looked at it. I read it over and shit. That's definitely not it. And truth be told, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think Son got paperwork. I don't. I don't think Son got paperwork that KR kid because Son saying dude got 65 years. Son claiming the Tyrone numbers, Son died before he could even go to trial. Yeah, man. So I don't think he got anything. Yeah, man. Unless Son made statements, but none of those is public. I just ran through all the documents. None of those is publicly available on the Tyrone numbers case. Yeah, man. Son died in prison 2013 before he could even go upstate or before he could even go to trial. Yeah, I mean, so I don't know where the 65 years shit came from because Son never got sentenced. He died. That was my fault. I was reading and trying to get you that information ASAP. So when I seen it and I'm trying to connect the dots, I ain't even reading the name, I just seen the last name. Or I ain't read the first name, I seen the last name because that was majority what was shown on the paperwork, just the last name. I'm like, all right, that's it. Yeah, I mean, from upstate, I already knew it was an older case, but nah, that's not it, Brody, and that's my fault. Right now, I am going off with my source, and those checking these records are telling me on stage. Cool G Rap, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane already respect what Kiss has done. Kiss would walk onto that stage with experience, respect, and a strong advantage. But that is exactly why people want to see whether Spesh can shock everybody and back up all that confidence under pressure. As for the paperwork situation, Terror Squad may have made a mistake by letting unverified documents control the conversation. If the names do not match, they owe people a clear explanation before pushing those claims further. But who am I? Get in the comments and tell me who wins the battle, whether Kiss should accept and whether Terror Squad crossed the line. Smash that like button, subscribe to Drip Zone, and turn on your bell notification so you know whenever I drop a video or go live. This story is getting messier from here. Salute. Let's keep it 100. Somebody put a rock, tell me if this true or not. Like, we really need to know what's up, because he just had the whole Rochester outside, and y'all acting like y'all ain't know what was up already. Muggavelli saying he ran off with some brag, chased him around with the pound. Then we got, you feel me? This other dude saying that he told on him before he passed away. Like, we need some, nah, man, we need some answers. Somebody let me know what's going.
You hear me? So that's what it is, man. Them niggas, all them niggas is soft. Because at the end of the day, if you was a real
I've
OG,
been consistent in.
y'all would just interview a cat and give him it's just do what. I don't want to do it like that. Y'all playing the industry games. And when you play them industry games around real niggas, you get caught up. I mean, if I was them, I'd probably put it all to rest and bust a verse. But these guys don't want to bust no verse. Bro. These niggas don't want to get put on Front Street lyrically. That's why they have Big U do the dumb shit.
Black people stripping. On the morning.
So let's see what
On
that
the
is.
morning. I'm sick. That's URL battle rapper. And if you watch URL battle rapper, that wasn't even disrespectful, homie. That was light. That's light to compare to where I'm gonna take it if we keep playing with it. Now let me explain something to you, homie. This ain't had nothing to do about this girl. I was looking at a play about him. How bad he wanted to get street. Oh, okay. Talking no bad about his woman. And at the end of the day, even if I did go all the way in, anything you do in battle rap is boring. You watch URL. It gets super disrespectful. They talk about just kids. Yeah, back then, this the out of any man battle rap trapper. We definitely got the streets. It all started with this. Some people don't want to be outshined on the record. Did a record with Benny and Kiss, and I happen to have the best verse on the record. I smoked the record. Kiss never did a song with me again. Never did a song with me again. I don't think he'll ever do a song with me again. The song called Sunday School, like, and he told me like, why you do that on that record? Like everybody, it was the talk of that time. And you got a chance to come redeem yourself, Kiss. Come on, come outside, come outside, nigga. I will never heard nobody told you. Hang on, that's a hey, man. Hey, you been ducking me, shit. Y'all gonna have to reorder your top five, man. That's it. Our fingers here. We can't have this thing top five. We can't. Canvas, get brain off the your labels are doing this stuff. What's the numbers they are? Before break, no, that 100, and you know they said it from forward. What's the numbers, man? Before break, no, take the 100, if you ain't heard it before, boom, boom, if you like the content, if what's the numbers, what's up? First you hit the like button, gotta subscribe. If you like the content, it's what you need to put up. You hit the like button, then you gotta subscribe. Good, back. We're live. And I dropped a video earlier. We got like 10,000. And we about to do a live really quick. You know what I mean? Like members only. So shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all get to, you know what I'm saying? Being soon. Catching these live. But if you ain't a member, you got to catch these lives in real time. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. It is. So I go and know. I got those snapback on. It's what it is. To the back, snap back to the back. That's a different life, though. About to forehead out. Man, what's up in those states of truck? Package in the building. We gonna get to like what happened. Some of the things that took place. I've been doing some research and Google, trying to figure out who's who. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out. Dang, I don't got too much paperwork. I got the players, the people in the situation. Yeah, rest in peace, Nolan. You know what I mean? We got 38 the rapper. We got the suspect time room members. And we got the deceased. Hold on, what's his name? I got his name too. Hold on. Got his name. Hold on. His name is Jamel Wigginson. Jamel Wigginson. You know what I mean? It's good. It's good. We gonna play different. We got Miami, Mason, passing words. The Val have some things to say. There's a lot going on. Let's start with Miami. Miami kind of like Miami's the one that kind of sparked this whole thing of I'm saying. So let's start with Miami. KAR, Terror Squad, TS. We should have lied. Shit. What's good, KK? Yeah. what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that video I dropped today, this is what comes with it, man. Easy way to get you out the paint. Like, we don't even got to rap. If we could get people to think that you rapping, we don't even got to rap. We can just get you right up out of here. I think Daddy gonna pull up the mic on. If not, it's gonna be good. We're gonna read the article, but they ain't got too many articles, but you know, Chat GPT got a lot. You know, he's saving the game right now. Hit the like button, but I appreciate it. All right, let's start with this. Just whatever your name is, pretty expensive. Whatever your name is, right? It's 24 hours. Let me know what the top members there. You got 24 hours for 65 years on the board. From the rock, aka Rochester, right? You got 24 hours to restore. I get my home. Let me know who the top members there. Being back with the person who passed away. Summer things behind the board. The early 2000s. I don't even know who that is. You got 24 hours to restore, B. You know? TS, you know the box. Let me know what South members is. That's what I have to see, B. Tyrone. That's a young Tyrone. But look at Gully's in the comments. And matter of fact, Gully the one that got. I'm gonna play a little video from Gully. He was on this. I'm gonna read his comment in a minute. I'm not gonna read it right now. We're gonna get back to this comment. Well, one thing I did here, and I think he said it for what people are telling me. Go right here, right? Tyrone L. Members was a Rochester, New York resident who passed away unexpectedly on September 24, 2013. Which has legal context. Prior to his passing, a teenager named Tyrone Members was involved in a high-profile legal case in Rochester in 2007 at the age of 19. He was arrested and charged with second-degree murder in connection with the shooting death of Jamal Wingington on Avenue D. He subsequently appealed his conviction through the Monroe County Public Defender's Office in a case handled by People vs. Members 2012. If you are looking for information regarding the organization gang, so he passed away in 2013. He was 19 in 2007, so that's what, a 6 years. So he passed away at 25 years old. He was young. He was young. The only thing I heard, and I think people say he said himself special. I haven't seen it, but this is what I was seeing, like comments and stuff, was because I think he got killed in 38's car, 38's Benz, right? They said that it was a 3-hour interrogation, though. That's the thing everybody was trying to like say, I guess, like it was like basically like what you have in a 3-hour interrogation if it just take, 2-3 minutes to tell him I want my lawyer. Or it wasn't, he wasn't being charged with anything. So maybe he just had a conversation. I don't know. I would love to find that, but that's what people would say. He said it in an interview or a song or something. That's what people was telling. I've been getting back. That it was a 3-hour interrogation. That's what people were trying to point at. Like he must have said something because the police like knew where to look, basically. Like they knew Tyrone was the person they was trying to find. Now, I don't know how true that is, but I gotta find the clip. They said it's a clip out there. Anyway, so that's it's this right here. All right, yeah. Check this out. This is Jamel Wigginton, right here. Jamel Wigginton, often misspelled Wigginton, was a 17-year-old resident of Rochester, New York, who tragically died on June 8, 2007. So that's 19 years ago. Special was 40, man, now 41 or something. So he was a little older. Special was a little older. He was found shot inside a vehicle in Rochester on June 7th and passed away the following day. A 19-year-old named Tyrone Members was subsequently charged with second-degree murder in connection with his death. So these are the people involved. You know what I'm saying? Some background information for us, right? So we know who Javon Wigginton is now. We know who Tyrone Members is and 38 Spesh, right? Those are the three people involved. Let's see if Miami, I think Miami had another clip. Oh, yeah, let's play this one, Miami, real quick. Get special, right? We got 24 hours to hit back, right? Tell me who Tyrone Members did. Who checked out, right? Tell me who Tyrone Members did, right? He came back down on a person, right? He got in jail, stomach cancer, right? I want to know who that is. I want you to tell me who that is. That's 38. 38 Spesh, whatever your name is. You got 24 hours to let me know who that nigga is. So I'm coming to the next step. That man for 65 years. Let me know who that nigga is, man. You know what I'm saying? For 65 years, Front Rock, aka Rochester, right? Let me know who that nigga is. For 65 years, man. Not looking good. And he passed away. So let me know who that is, man. All right? 38 Spesh responded, so he said, "You must not be from the streets. We know you got fake paperwork from Mother Belly. If it was true, it would be public info, fool, not if I laugh. If you did your research, you would know I smacked rats. Don't let a scam or hater like Mother Belly have you looking stupid. Do your research." Miami said that response happened less than 24 hours. Next, that paperwork going up ASAP. He told me who Tyrone Members was. That's all I asked, nothing else. And you reply with this, gang. They ain't got asking Joe shit. Ask me. This guy ain't got nothing to do with that, man. Homie, give me 24 hours. I ain't got no stain in my name. Let's get to that. Ask about me. Go on YouTube and search the name. You got the fake paperwork from that. We'll explain it all. Go look up the case and stop the girl is since you're saying names for public info. Go research how much of a real I am and get back to me. He said, "Well, I gotta look it up. Tell me what happened. I got real paperwork, gang. That's next. F2, me and you know that. You must not be. Mother Belly is out here, though. We gonna go. Mother Belly has this record going at him before. He said, F with Kiss from Jim, but it backfired. I mean, not if it ain't true. If it ain't true, it ain't true. It ain't backfired at all. If it ain't true. If it ain't true, it ain't true. I'm gonna play a little clip. This one, Gully. Because I got friends. Whatever you gotta say, he got a lot of this shit documented. A lot of shit people bringing up right now. Elliot already got all this shit documented on his page. Tap in. Why? Uh, from the general perspective of someone who's web surfing online hip hop, they will probably encounter some content that can lead to some sort of speculation in the streets of Rochester. Did I word that correctly? Possibly. Okay. I would love for you to, in your words, I now this what we have right now is an interview, this conversation as a public service announcement. So what I would like to do is give you the floor and ask you to give us some clarity. Um, Clarity on what now? We got, it's a lot of shit in the air now. You got to realize, like, situation that happened in you rapped about it in your songs about an incident that happened in your car, in your Mercedes. Oh, that incident. Hey, yo, I like Peter to my homie Clip, right? 20 years ago, I lost a friend of mine in the backseat of my car. You heard? That situation is public information. You know what I'm saying? The kid who was responsible for it went to trial, blew trial. So, any criminal know when you go to trial for a murder and you go to trial, everybody that's involved in your case, that shit is public information. So, a motherfucker can never throw my name in nothing, you know what I'm saying? Because that's public information. My name is Justin Pagel. You know what I'm saying? My jacket is too clean, so I got a lot of motherfuckers that is jealous of me that's rappers and shit. So, I get a lot of hate and shit from motherfucking failed rappers and shit, but it ain't one street nigga that's really active that'll ever say anything bad about it. You understand? Right. They could never be, because they know the rules of this shit. You can't just throw bullshit on a nigga name. You know what I'm saying? I've been on top for 20 years. You can't say nothing bad about 38. If anything, you know what I'm saying? So what he said right there kind of aligns with what we read as far as somebody being unalive in his car. You know who the person was. You know who the person that blew trial was. But he did come back down and appeal. Now I don't know if they have brought it back down for like a new trial to re-sentence him or what. So he wasn't released, but I think he was coming back to go back in front of the judge or something when he died. I'm feeling good, yeah. Yeah, which is why we're doing this live. You know what I'm saying? To see if there's any truth to these accusations. Because like when I watched it when it first came out, even though I wasn't really listening to their music, I remember I tuned into this and I heard a couple of freestyles, matter of fact. And they went back and forth. I think spesh might have responded to, I'm not sure, but I know Morgan Bell got some tracks, and I think maybe somebody named Green W might have some tracks from that spesh, if I'm mistaken. No, not Green W. Green W said he put the thing out, which he later apologized for. And so he played that too. Let me play a little more of this. This is WTV, and this is 38. We'll check it out on this page. Like I said, public information is public information. I can't change my name. So, if a nigga throw some bullshit on me, that's hate, that's jealousy. Jealousy will come with that. Right. I've been dealing with that since a young nigga. I've been a young nigga in my time doing things. You know? Just a kid. 20 years ago, you understand? I've been winning for 20 years. So niggas will throw everything on you out of jealousy. But at the end of the day, my jacket's too clean. And that make a lot of niggas uncomfortable who want to be rappers and shit. You heard? Got it. Okay, your friend. In regards to you losing a friend in this incident, how did that place you in the role of telling us something? I don't know. Motherfucker come up with 300 in the building. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. So we have. No one said nothing until this was already out. This interview right here is from 2024 or something, if I'm not mistaken. This was already a narrative that they had ran already upstate in Rochester. and maybe in that little Buffalo area, wherever they was in tune with this. This has some motion. I know I watched this shit when it first dropped. You know what I mean? I watched it when it first dropped. We're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to that interview in a second. Gonna get back to that in a second. Hold on. He said 38 official. Shout out, what up, man? 38 official. Shout out 38. We we just figuring out. We're getting a deep dive. We trying to see if there's any truth to this. You know what I mean? So, this is Green Dozens. Because at one point he ran with whatever was available. He said what he said. And this is some kind of apologizing for that. Let me see. Backtracking that situation, right? Before all this happened, we had a fallout. I was signed with him at one point in time. We did records. We went on tour. You know what I'm saying? But we split apart for our own reasons. And part of that is I put out there that special was a rap. You get what I'm saying? The same energy I had on the interview to saying that the nigga was a rap, I'm saying I've never seen no paperwork. So I'm keeping 100. You ever see paperwork? At the point I felt like I got some valuable, you get what I'm saying? So, but the reality in 2026 is a lot been said about spesh, but ain't no black and white been. Nobody never been no black and white. I ain't going black and white, bro. Gotta go off of it. Yeah, I'm big on that. The niggas is stuck anything. It's he say, she say. So if it's not there, it really don't exist. You get what I'm saying? And you also end up playing yourself. So as a man, to stand up nigga with the same energy I had to say he wasn't right, well, he did that, I'm giving the same energy. I've never seen no black and white. Here we go, and I apologize. So you see, let's check it out. That's on YouTube right now. 334 people in the building, man. Hit the like button, share the live. My boy Batty Bills in the building. Good. They like you, right, young. Good. We got some Rochester news tonight. Got 300 people in the building, man. They showing up. Rochester in the building, man. They showing in there. The Rock is in the building. So you up to date with everything, the murder and what they talking about, and we got. I didn't know nothing about the murder. I knew about the dude Mother Bell, whatever. He got a problem with him and 38 got beat. He said he pulled out a hammer on the nigga, whatever. Snitch allegation. They stem from a murder that took place in 38's car, right? Yeah. Hold on. Salute to Jamel Saladin. Who that's he? They stem from. Shout out to G. Shout out to G. Black, definitely. So let me tell you up to date. So, all right. So here we got the suspect. That's Tyrone Members. That's the one who went to jail, got 60 or 65, then ended up getting some motion in an appeal. Yeah. Back down. I don't know if I think it was to get back in front of a judge because he was still in jail. Yeah. Still late. Yeah. He was 25, 26 when he died. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Now we got shout out to these blacks that salute you. We're out there pulling up to Rochester. Right? Now we got over here. Let me get his name real quick. So I got his name. Hold on. Let me shoot. Hold on. So the dude in the right got killed in the car. Yeah, Jamel Wigginson. The deceased guy, right? The white hat on. Yeah. He got killed in the car. Jamel Wigginson. That picture is a little different, but the kid is supposed to be did the murder. Tyrone Members, yeah. The young kid right here to the left. Yeah, he was 17 when he got killed. He was 19 when he killed him, allegedly. And then Tyrone, they're saying though. This is what they're saying that I'm hearing. Now, supposedly this was rap or said in an interview or people know something. This is something that people know allegedly. They're saying when the police grabbed 38 because it was his car that it happened in, supposedly a 3-hour interrogation took place. And people was like, how is it a 3-hour interrogation if it was just like, it should be, I want my lawyer, he's not under arrest or nothing, or it should be like, I'm not under arrest while I'm having a convo. So I guess people trying to say what was said in those 3 hours, because supposedly some people knew who they was looking for right after this. Okay. But there ain't no black and white. But there ain't no black and white enough for what I'm saying. Yeah, no black and white. They just allegations. But yeah, supposedly everything all said he got some paperwork to push. But I read this that 38 is saying it's fake paperwork that. Yeah, I think I know the bell. He's trying to say push that. Yeah. But what do you think about a 3-hour interrogation? What do you think about that? I mean, 3-hour interrogation is sus. I'm gonna be what, like my interrogation was like less than 5 minutes. Me and federal agents. So we already knew who was telling by the length that they spent in the interrogation room. You know what I'm saying? So like a 3-hour interrogation is like I want my lawyer. That's it. Even though it took place in my car, I want my lawyer. So you think that could be a little? Like I said, that sucks. I'm gonna keep it a spade. It sucks. 3-hour interrogation is such. But it's nothing produced from it, then you can't really condemn them. You can't condemn, like I said, if there's no black and white, then you can't condemn them. But a 3-hour interrogation is suspect. Fact. Okay. If they asking for their lawyer within a minute, it's fishy. No, it's not. Nigga, that's your right. The fuck you talking about? That ain't fishy. That's your fucking right. That's why y'all niggas don't understand your rights, my nigga. That's your right, nigga. They supposed to ask you no more questions then. Then if I'm being detained, I'm not talking about my lawyer. I need to be released then. If I'm not arrested, I need to be free. I should be free to go. Yeah, he wasn't arrested. It was just his call. You know what I'm saying? I should be free to go. If I'm not under arrest, I should be free to go. Oh, you said that was a typo? Oh, all right. So what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I should be free to go. If I ain't under arrest, I should be free to fucking go. You dig? 330 people. Let's see y'all 40 people. Y'all fuck with the Rochester content and hit the like button, man. 340 people in here, man. Hit the like button if y'all like this. I'm talking about this upstate brigade talk, man. It's about snitching and Miami saying he knows the kick too. Shout out the kick too. For sure. Fishy, see, I agree with 3 hours being fishy. 3 hours is motherfucking, like I said, bro. That sucks. But like I said, if nothing produced from it, then so be it. But that sucks, right? That's very, very sus. What exactly is sus about it, though? Like, the length of the interrogation with no attorney. The length of the interrogation with no attorney. That's what makes it sus. What if they disguise it as just a conversation? It's not an interrogation. I'm going to arrest you, not a suspect. Just come talk to us for a bit. Nigga, no, my nigga. Listen, I don't go talk to no police without an attorney. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I know one time, bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm dirty as fuck, my nigga. I think I'm super dirty. I had some board. I was fresh home, and this is a crib that you slept in too. I was fresh home. I ain't been home maybe, you know. I had probably about a half a zip of board in the crib. In the crib, my nigga. At the time, my wife was pregnant with my son. That is. So, like, where I lived at, like, this security niggas to be on my dick, you know what I'm saying? So, he said the boys at my door, they can't knock on my door, boom, boom, boom. They like, can we come in? I said, no. I said, I'll come out though. Because I know my rights. Once you invite them into your threshold without a warrant, they take over your domain. So this is different, I say, about knowing your rights. So then they like, why I came out, closed the door behind me, and I talked to them in the hallway. You know what I'm saying? So they asked me some questions, and instead of I was like, well, yo, they're like, do you mind if we come in and look around? I said, nah. I said, y'all need a warrant for that. I said, we're gonna go get one. I said, all right, go do your job. How long were you out there talking to them for? I was out there talking for like maybe 7 minutes. So you do talk to people. I said, this is the conversation that I'm telling you took place. They asked me first thing, and they knocked on my door, asked me, could they come in? I said, no, I'll come out and talk to you. Close the door behind. I think we're willing to talk. But you didn't say close your door like get a warrant or I'll get my lawyer basically. No. And what that did, you can't really. I didn't talk to them for no fucking 3 hours. I didn't talk to them for 3 hours. But you talk. No, I did. I came and said to them, they asked me a question. I just answered questions in this aspect. They asked me a question. Can they come in my crib? I said, no. I'll come out and talk to whatever you want to talk about. I'll come out and talk to you. Whatever you talking about. When I came out, they said, well, yo, such and such, the security said, like, some suspicious activity or whatever. I said, well, I don't know. You need to take that up with me. But nah. I said, do you mind we come in and look around? I said, no. I said, you're going to need a warrant for that. He said, all right, we're going to go get one there. I said, all right, go ahead, do your job. And I went back in. This is the dialogue. For probably less than 5 minutes. And you know what I'm saying? Huh? I was super dirty. But they gave me enough time to go get rid of, put my shit in place to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? So when I came back, at the time, my ex-wife, she all paranoid, they go, I'm pregnant, yo, you know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, it's chill. They can't come in here. They don't got no, they ain't see me. They ain't got nothing on them shape. They ain't got enough evidence for the war. They can go tell a judge, whatever. They ain't smelling no weed in here. None of that shit. And what get the boys supposed to get the red? Like what he said he was doing. Security nigga should be on me, bro. I was outside talking to somebody. He was this white nigga that was like a fucking like a George Zimmerman. He was like a fake security ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? All right. So what you basically saying, the talking part, you ain't really condemning him for it. It's just the length you're not jacking. The length of the talking without an attorney. Like if anything, you have a brief conversation like I just showed you. The conversation that I had, the dialogue I had, a brief time, and that's that. Go do your job, nigga. But you could have also handled it by like just closing your door, like, nah, get a warrant. I don't gotta come. That would have probably looked more sus too, though. Like they know I'm there, but I'm not answering the door. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They know I'm there, but I'm not answering the door for them. You know what I'm saying? That's type sus too. I respect. They played it right because it worked out in your favor, so I just be playing it right. But if it comes out that something like that happened, it was a 3-hour conversation, what are you going to think about 30 years? I don't think, like I said, if there's no paperwork saying that we told on this guy, there's public information, there's no sealed documents that's making it look suspect, then, he good money. But if it is, then, there's no other alternative, man. He ain't right. But I'm not going to put that. But I don't think, he's confident. I seen 38 text chain with KAR. He's confident. Mm-hmm. Let me just play his explanation of what happened real quick. Like I said, Gully's been on this since 2024 when him and Morgan Bell was going on it. He documented it back then. Who is Morgan Bell? Is he from Florida or is he from Rochester? He's from up there. He live in Miami now. Yeah, check it out real quick. Situation that happened you rapped about it in your songs about an incident that happened in your car, in your Mercedes. Oh, that incident. Hey, R.I.P. to my homie Craig, right? 20 years ago, I lost a friend of mine in the backseat of my car. You heard? That situation is public information. You know what I'm saying? The kid who was responsible for it went to trial, blew trial. So, any criminal know when you go to trial for a murder and you blow trial, everybody that's involved in your case, that shit is public information. So, a motherfucker can never throw my name in nothing, you know what I'm saying? Because that's public information. My name is Justin Harrell. You know what I'm saying? My jacket is too clean, so I got a lot of motherfuckers that is jealous of me that's rappers and shit. So, I get a lot of hate and shit from motherfucking failed rappers and shit, but it ain't one street nigga that's really active that'll ever say anything bad about me. You understand? Right. They could never be, because they know the rules of this shit. You can't just throw bullshit on a nigga name. You know what I'm saying? I've been outside for 20 years. You can't say nothing bad about 38. If anything, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, public information is public information. I can't change my name. So, if a nigga throw some bullshit on me, that's hate, that's jealousy. Jealousy come with that. Right. I've been dealing with that since a young nigga. I've been a young nigga in my town doing things. You know? Just a kid. 20 years ago, you understand? I've been winning for 20 years. So niggas will throw everything on you out of jealousy. But at the end of the day, my jacket's too clean. And that make a lot of niggas uncomfortable who want to be rappers and shit. You heard?
Got it. Okay, your friend. In regards to you losing a friend in this incident, how could that place you in the role of telling us something?
I don't know. Motherfuckers come up with rumors and shit, and they throw rumors and shit, but at the end of the day, it's public information that I never in my life cooperated with no law enforcement. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's public information. It costs $10 before it transfers to anybody trial. You know what I'm saying? You niggas ain't that broke. Y'all not that broke.
And like I said, the whole interview of that is on WD. Go check it out. That's from 2024. It's called Life. Looking Bell.
He's right about that. If in a murder trial, especially in a murder trial, my nigga, most cooperating, they ain't really cooperating witness will testify, take the stand. Like I'm gonna give you a prime example. Like when when Phil got murdered, T.I. was called to take the stand, and she was there. Like he the I ain't saying witness or whatever. I don't know. He was there. You know what I'm saying? So in that case, if he ain't in no transcripts and all that shit, my niggas, he didn't give up any information. Yeah. He might have been in a 3-hour interrogation because he wasn't saying anything to them.
He said he without being called.
But he should have just told him, let me speak to my attorney.
But he probably like I'm not in trouble. I didn't do nothing. That was like a shot in my car. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, this is the conversation because all right, I act like y'all must not be here from the beginning. A terror squad member made a post today, right? And in that post, he alluded to basically 38 maybe talking or something. You know what I mean? And basically, I'm putting a little time again, but maybe I wasn't here for the first. This is what this conversation is about. But before Miami ever said something, this was a conversation that was already being had in Rochester, which is proven by, like I said, go on WT, they spoke about that interview wasn't from today. That interview was from years ago when this was a topic that came up. So we're just doing a deep dive, getting all the information, and we're going to see if there's any truth to it. That's what we're doing.
Whatever your name is, whatever your expense, whatever your name is, right? That's 24 hours. Maybe, from child home Wednesday. You got 24 hours before 65 years on the board. From the Rock, aka Rochester, right? You got 24 hours to respond. They're my host. Maybe who child home Wednesday. Being back in the person and back the way. Some case for how old in the early 2000s. I need to know who that is. That people out to the storm, B. You know, she has the know the block. Let me know who's talking about medicine. That's all I got to say, B.
And both of them also this situation too. And listen to this. He doesn't really walk it all the way back. He just says there ain't no black and white.
Listen to the wise verse God's created black man just really just in part of his job with mind. The mental did 11 more percent of black people. God, peace. Peace.
Hey, yeah. Anything I wish I got, you hate. The first large crowd shut down part of Chilai Avenue Thursday night when police say the gathering got out of control. Rochester police say fights broke out at a large gathering on Chilai Avenue and Thurston Road in Rochester yesterday. New at 4, people who were there say the opposite. News 10 NBC's Annalisa Bazik joins us live from Chilai Avenue. Annalisa, what are people saying out there?
Brett, everyone I spoke to said there was no violence here. Now I'm told there was a small scuffle down there, but that was it. Police say otherwise. This is video shared to News 10 NBC showing the large crowd on Chilai and Thurston. Tadia Gillum was there and said a rapper from Rochester came back to give back to his community.
Very positive of this, so I don't have anything else to say. I really strongly believe. I just want that narrative gone that it was violent. It was not, and I would hope for us to do it again. It was actually really well, and the music video was done at the end, but it was very peaceful. There's nothing wrong with doing the music videos.
Different fights started to break out within the crowd. There was a spotter activation a block or two away, and so around 10 o'clock, once we had enough officers, resources there, utilizing our PA systems, we started began giving announcements. And so the crowd was giving very clear announcements that it was time to disperse. And those that didn't disperse would be going to jail or whatever it may be, right? It's time to disperse.
Hey, yo, threatening people with jail because there was a fight that broke out a few blocks away is kind of crazy to me. However, listen, you guys, pay attention and stay out to people in jail. You understand me? Now, I want to get to something. There has been talk of Green Devil having a problem with spesh in the past. This nigga Green Devil called 38 a rat. It's right there on YouTube.
Before all this happened, we had a fallout. I was signed with him at one point in time. We did records. We went on tour. You know what I'm saying? But we split apart for our own reasons. And part of that is I put out there that spesh is a rap. You get what I'm saying? And I spoke with spesh. You know, motherfuckers out there gonna say what they want. But long as me and him is together on what happened and where we going from there, the same energy I had on the interview to saying that the nigga was a rap, I'm saying I've never seen no paperwork. So I'm keeping 100. You ever assume you'll ever see paperwork? At the point I felt like I got it from some valuable, you get what I'm saying? All right, on top of I don't fuck with you. And I got that type of energy when I don't fuck with you, it's fuck me. So if you get what I'm saying, Green Devil's advocate, do it. All right, and niggas saying it's about, I'm a magnified. Okay, I got a voice. You get what I'm saying? They're listening to me in that sense. I didn't care at that point of doing the research. Oh, you say he that? Yeah, he that. Fuck him. I don't fucking with any. So
That makes you a flawed nigga.
I could definitely say that. And I was going against the code, just out of anger and just like fuck you types. Okay, now man, okay. And so, but the reality in 2026 is a lot been said about spesh, but ain't no black and white been said. Nobody never said no black and white. I ain't going black and white, bro. You gotta go off of it. Yeah, I'm big on that. The end of the day, it's not anything. It's he say, she say. So it's not there. It really don't exist. You get what I'm saying? And you ultimately end up playing yourself. So as a man and a stand-up nigga with the same energy I had to say he wasn't right, or he did that, I'm giving the same energy. I've never seen no black and white. Here we go, and I apologize publicly.
So who is Jamal Saladin? They keep bringing him up in it.
Who that was talking? That dude that was talking.
That's the dude that was talking to Green Double?
No, that was talking before Green Double that said you got a problem with 38, and then you showed the clip up.
How's it different?
Yeah, the dude that was talking before I. Dude that was talking before I.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But
You seen it? He been around those Salad games.
he from Rochester.
I don't know where he's from.
That's what they say. He's from the first blood from Rochester. And that's what Zeke Black shouted out. He part of the bill with it.
Shout out Trap Politics for the 999 for Lou. That's him.
Yeah, Roski said, shout out to Jamal Saladin, one of the first bloods of Rochester.
I didn't even know this from Rochester, but he been on YouTube for a minute.
What's his shit?
I don't know. I think he changed it to this. I don't know, but he be on Zeke shit. He be on Buck shit. He be on 050 shit.
Oh, he's the inventor. He's the inventor of
So as y'all can see, a lot of bullshit.
But y'all elevating this bill from like it's like don't be scared, the lights subscribe, shit. So like next to me, here next to me. Okay, talk about dirty special. We think out Big Joe to Jadakiss, Fat Joe, Neo Man, all kind of other dudes out there too. And, you know, niggas be bugging me. This shit started with him saying that he killed Jadakiss on the first. And then Jada Kiss him dropping the reverse, a little line about him. And he coming back, nigga, Jim Jones jumping in it. I told nigga from my first video, Jim Jones, you need to stay out of it. When you see where Jim Jones took this out, right? Jim Jones, we're talking to him, man. He told me, and I've never seen you really in action. That stuff that happened with you with Dame Dash, the video came out. See what you do. See, blown up Jim Jones from the inside. Using people with camera. Now you people with freezy. You people with massive. Yo, whoa, Jim, you bugging man? Yo, what are you bugging? Yo, Jim, you ain't never been in jail when I made a video about that before. You know, helping to see people get upset. Yo, this a little hip hop battle. This is directly niggas is talking about this, talking about that. Making sure niggas ready to go to jail. Because the fans is out there. And a lot of y'all niggas, y'all niggas is short niggas act like y'all niggas is shit. Act like shit's gonna happen out here. Y'all niggas ain't gonna do shit. Because y'all niggas scared to go to jail. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Talking rough shit, knowing that the fans is out there, taking niggas down, black niggas losing their life. Wait, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so that's on you, Jim. You know? You keep it negative pushing. You know? And you put yourself in the middle with that. You know what I'm saying? Because you had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. But you wanted to be in a cycle. You got artists that you're going to put out that's going to come out too. You know? That's going to come out on this way. Jimmy Kiss thinks it's the top one. None of y'all niggas help, man. Jimmy Kiss don't need none of y'all niggas help. Jimmy Kiss ain't need none of y'all niggas help. I'm talking up for him. That's word of my mom. That's why I respect the locks out of it. Because Styles B, you ain't hear a word from Styles B. You ain't hear a word from Sheep Blues. None of the real niggas, you heard? Only nigga that's talking is J Hood. J Hood is on the internet talking, putting people against each other, how you think this and that. And J Hood, some of the shit you acting with, some of the shit you talking bull, nigga. Some of the shit you talking bull. You're a little biased against G Unit, J Hood. You know? I see you. I think it's because you was down with D Block and y'all had y'all beef at around the same time. You know what I'm saying? So you always put everybody against T or 50. Yeah? And to tell you the truth, a lot of dudes can't touch their brain. I don't care what y'all say. I was out there going to the concerts, got them CDs. I was selling CDs and DVDs at that time. So I know how this shit was selling on the street. It was selling. All Logan Banks mixtapes was selling. All anything that came from G, anything that came from 50 King was selling. Yeah. So Jim, if you go to chill, I'm trying to compare everybody with 50 and G with it, and it ain't no comparisons with a lot of niggas. A lot of niggas ain't go up and platinum. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas is trash, man. To have their time now, what they doing in 2026. All the rappers from New York, they doing podcast. I ain't talking shit. So this nigga, Jim Jones, and talk this way to really special beef.
And that's why Billy Special got at his ass on that joint. Yeah. So he was ready and all that. That's one of them, nigga. Jadakiss only gave a ball. So he gave Jadakiss a couple of bombs, a jabs. You know what I'm saying? He know what he doing. Jadakiss ain't need no help from none of y'all rap niggas out there, baby. He ain't need no help from none of y'all rap niggas out there. Y'all say shit new style, you ain't say nothing. Y'all say something. That's the shit new style creation. Why if I'm about to say something about hip hop back? Now they talking about how spesh is getting blackballed now, but the nigga Joe Budden. First of all, real niggas don't listen to Joe Budden. Real niggas don't watch Joe Budden. See what? You got never watched the full Joe Budden's podcast, right? I haven't watched nobody in the review. I'm not saying he's trash, but I know that he's up there. You know what I'm saying? But all the dudes that they gatekeepers, man. They gatekeepers, man. Talking about 38 special, but he ain't gonna be on the platform now because what he said about Jim Jones' girl, a wife, Chrissy, everybody, when they attack Jim Jones, everybody's doing something about Chrissy. That's Jim Jones' fault, He should have did something when Mag Lee first did, you know what I'm saying? That's how you did that. Any gangster know that. You know what I'm saying? Any gangster. You do something, it's get back. That's the only get back. Facebook game, fake get back. They have no Facebook. It's a match with the chill back. They match with chill on the face. Like they get to the battle of the French. That hip hop game is smoking berries. You know what I'm saying? This is an industry versus independent right now. They're being special independent. Okay? They trying to blackball him now because he's spitting this shit, talking this shit. You know what I mean? That's how they do it. None of these lots of Jada Kiss ain't saying nothing. Jada Kiss is saying everybody's defending him, stepping up for him. But Jada Kiss felt you should have done it all that. You should have just came back with a little option and still rap. You know what I'm saying? You see that he doing it. So with your own shit. Like you sitting back waiting for that everybody jumped in. And come at the special. Smoke screen. It's nobody to this shit. I'm like, all this shit will be about ball.
Yeah, Jadakiss moving like a sucker.
Hip hop games for gays. Straight up for gays. That's why I'm not following none of the niggas. I don't look for none of the niggas. I don't look for food at home. Shit to help me survive out here. Back when I was coming up, niggas used to listen to hip hop. You to get something from hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Struggling. I'm saying now these niggas is all living a high life. Everybody is better than each other. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ain't no more talent in the game. Everybody is all about money, stats. Everything's specific. Okay? And feel like everything they say is talking high and on smoke screens and doing dropping oil slick out the car. They doing everything in the world just to not have a black back of me. You know what I'm saying? And then New York niggas always want to be considered the top people out here. Oh, we got top hip hop niggas, rap this, rap that. Every day, nigga. You know, give the people what they're supposed to give, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Even down south, even on the West Coast, when those get into that back, they get into a little beat, they sing straight to the music, huh? Nowadays in New York, you can't even get no real music out of niggas. You can't even get no hip hop out of niggas, right? You can't even get no rap out of niggas. And this is what's paying these niggas. These niggas, that's what's paying the niggas bills. That's why I told you Jay-Z robbed y'all niggas. He spent all that money to go see Jay-Z, but Jay-Z won't
See, you got niggas dying in the hospital. Well, I never hear Jay-Z doing no shadowy work. I want to see kids that got cancer, kids that got HIV. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to pay to see them niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all y'all, man. God buying some bitches singers. I don't buy some nothing that you talking about. I don't give a nothing that you talking about. I know they selling niggas out for the riches so they can live good. That shit ain't all about them being a businessman and all that, nigga. Nigga, take them cracks on elections, get millions like that, nigga. Because if they was, every man million that we wouldn't even have, we wouldn't even have that. We wouldn't going through the discrimination that we go through. We wouldn't going through the racism that we go through. It's so easy for us to become millionaires and billionaires, you heard? Count them. I want to hear how many black billionaires and billionaires out there. That's for the people. None. Jay-Z, Oprah, King, none of them niggas. It ain't this shit, but none of them niggas want to be. Because you can't have money like that if they for the people, nigga. You're not gonna let some. They gonna break it down, nigga. What's your organization that you know that's out here that got funding that's for the people besides Mr. Farrakhan and young similar groups? It ain't a lot. There's only one and two. The NSAW, what's that NAWP and Farrakhan and the few other groups. Everybody else is in the garbage, man. Everybody else. Everybody else is doing to help people still happen. Still be right with them niggas. Violence and rights moving forward with them niggas. You know what I'm saying? If nobody step up for you, who gonna be there for you? Nobody. So all that shit is about corporation, big business, um, big bang take little bang. That's all that shit is about, man. That in terms of study, special Jadakiss being take it somewhere else, man. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. Except for in the studio. Except for on wax. You know what I'm saying? Jadakiss sitting back letting all this shit go by. Instead of just coming out. If you smash me, nigga, why didn't you come out and smash me? They need special some shit. I'm not saying 30 special better than Jadakiss because he's not. It's got to be local. We know the real. Jadakiss been stood up for us. We know what Jadakiss got. Jadakiss 10 for 10 out here. You heard? Okay? But he's being challenged by a competitor, 38 special. And we haven't heard nothing yet. We haven't heard shit. We heard everything else. We heard about people laying minds. We heard about snitching allegations. We heard about this. We heard about that. So, bro, let's get it, man. Let's get it, man. But that shit on wax. Doggy down and say this. Yes, we are live. You know how we start every show? We start every show with the promotion that we offer to the folks out there. And to anybody who need promotion with their product, I don't care what it is. I can help you get in front of thousands of people with my promotion, with my network. It's my X account, my Facebook account, my YouTube community, my Instagram story, my Threads account. And it's actually 2 Instagram accounts and 2 Facebook accounts and 1 private Instagram group. So it's actually more than what I'm showing on the screen. For only $100, just make sure you DM me at Doggy Diamonds on Instagram. Also, if you want to get interviewed on the channel, hit me up, a 5-minute interview at Doggy Diamonds. You see what I'm saying on the screen. You know, this ain't my first rodeo, but if you're new here, you know, it's looking what it's saying on the screen. And I need you to join my Facebook group at Doggy Diamonds. Facebook. Facebook.com.
So y'all understand what's going on, man? They playing the industry games on my nigga Spesh. But at the same time, Spesh didn't go hard enough as he should have, you know? He playing games with them too, you know, chestnut checkers. So I get it. Do your thing, player. You know, get in this algorithm and make your thing pop. Because I don't understand why it's a big deal that he did Jim Jones' baby mama and all that. And Jim Jones didn't even want to marry the bride. Remember that? I love hip hop or some shit like that. So it's crazy to me. They're picking and choosing, you know.
Was good.
But we gonna see what's gonna happen as the days roll on, you know. But one thing you did do bad is you went on 050 the movement. So I don't know if that's gonna fly right.
You going to get
But let's be honest. If Fat Joe is a snitch, Jadakiss should have gotten in front of all of this. Now it make y'all look crazy now right now. You keep it in a hundo.
before he was
Say this thing about
before we
these
start before we start this video, real quick, I'm going to say this up front so we don't have no type of miscommunication or any of that. Jim Jones and every New York City team is homeless, but 38 special and Orchard Party Bills is not. Let's get started. DJ Bandana Black and Doris Records. Yeah, man. Bandana Black, we always play local music, for Buffalo, man. That was the only DJ we really had, you know what I'm saying? And he always showed love, man. He always been a fan, since day one. I know him before, I knew him before he was even Bandana Black, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when he became, on the radio DJ, man, he's always showed love, man. So, definitely shout out to Bandana Black. Yeah, boy, we Bandana Black. DJ Bandana. So this can't be the same gritty bitty that we grew up listening to, man. This ain't the same New York City that I grew up listening to, man. So I'm out going for a walk today, doing a little workout. Big Bandana getting back, big and shit like that. So I'm going a little workout and I'm watching a podcast, right? I'm watching the podcast and I'm seeing a lot of people from New York City. I'm seeing a lot of people from New York City making excuses, bro. I'm seeing a lot of people from New York City making excuses. I thought this was the gritty city, yo. I thought this was the rotten apple. This was gritty New York. Is the rapper scared to rap? Is that rapper scared to rap? Listen, we're gonna cut right to the chase, right? Dave East. Dave East, you think the most gayest shit. Okay. It's too late. I already said it. Dave East, you think the most gayest shit ever, bro. You think the most gayest ever. So don't you know, they took 38 Spesh off this album, right? So Baby took 38 Spesh off his album, I guess, because he's queen of Jim Jones. So because 38 Spesh did a verbal record about Jim Jones and his girl. Davey said, listen, I can't rock with them. I can't rock with them. DJ Bandana. Max B, damn near threatened this nigga wife and said that she touched it by his enemy, bro. To the whole world. I think from this whole city and get around you. You took your happy, don't look gas, this woke Bloomberg. Or you was Jones like this on a podcast. We don't care what you guys worked up. That shit looked whack as hell to us, bro.
Copper do not trust church. Copper do not trust like didn't trust you, bro. That was some stuff that stuff, but I keep picking and choosing. So it's okay for a New York City artist who just randomly happened to come home 40 years early to diss Jim Jones, disrespect his girl. But because that nigga be around here, the nigga that's talking about you 7 hours away, you want to take him off your record. I think it's deeper than that. I pause. I think it's deeper. I think it's the problem. I think that Dave East didn't want to get Jadakiss. I think that Dave East didn't want to get Jadakiss. Dave East was scared that, especially when get on that record and have the best verse. And what happened? Shout out to 05 Motor Movement. Shout out to 05 Motor Movement because they dropped it. They dropped the unreleased song. And what happened? Especially had the best verse. And for those of you that's going to hop in the comments and say, "Band in the Black for being biased," I'm not being biased. I am from Buffalo. I am Buffalo. I'm not from Rochester. I'm not from I'm from Buffalo, New York, right? I'm not being biased. I'll tell you the honest God's truth. The record that this started over, the Sunday service record that this whole big upstate New York, that New York City, this whole thing started over, that this person had the best verse over this one had the best verse over. I hated the whole song. The whole, I didn't like Sunday service. I didn't like the whole song. But this 38 special verse on this Day East record, this 38 special on this Day East record, I understand what 38 was saying right, bro. I understand what 38 was saying right now. Because he had the best verse on there. He had the best verse on there. Day East Snoop Dogg with 38 special. He had the best verse on there. So I kind of understand that. I just want to say this. If y'all gonna be the gritty city, and I gotta go finish doing my work, though. Actually, I'm about to eat breakfast and finish my work now. So if y'all gonna be the gritty city, right? If y'all gonna be who we looked up to, it's don't get confused. Especially the rest of us as fans and videos. So I hope y'all not think that. Because I think that might be the problem also too. Like y'all are kind of thinking that us whole upstate and we just thinking like Spesh just gonna wash kiss something. No. We've been listening to the same kids we've been listening to for all these years all too. It's just the simple fact that the niggas from upstate, so we're not gonna let y'all play with it because it's from our actual area. Not from our city, they're from our actual area. So I don't think that DJ Bandana should have picked that. Joe Budden, you next. Just want to say that. Subscribe and like. Subscribe to the channel. Joe Budden, you is next. The next Joe Budden is the outfit. New York City, the greatest. So you mean to tell me it's not okay for 38 Spesh to talk about a female? So 38 Spesh can't talk about a female, right? But Joe Budden can beat him up. So 38 Spesh can't. Would you rather somebody say that you're ugly, or would you rather somebody punch you in your shit? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. New York City, Jersey, all that area, maybe y'all look at things differently. Maybe verbally saying something about a female is frowned upon. You can't do that. Beating random multiple women, Joe Button, I guess, is accepted. Anyways, DJ Band in the Black, Mr. Well Connected, even more respected, Mr. Hashtag I am bonus. I just want to say this, man. I just want to say this before we get out of here, man. Shout out DJ Khaled. Shout out DJ Khaled. So I want to say, shout out DJ Khaled. Warning, warning, warning. Tonight's forecast is a total blackout. You know what that means, baby. Yeah, it's your boy Taj, man. I want to give a big shout out to my brother, my guy, DJ Bandana Black, the Black Eye Buffalo stand up. God Squad, Free Dick Wolf, Leo, what's good, Buffalo? This your boy Uncle Murder from Brooklyn, East New York. And you already know I'm rocking with the homie DJ Bandana Black, Mr. Well Connected, even more respected. The Blackout. It's the king of Philly. Gilly the Kid and Kings only rock out with Kings, so you know I'm rocking out with my man DJ Bandana Black, aka Mr. I Am Buffalo. Huh? Hey, yo, stop it, man. It's your boy Spills, and you are now tuned into the Blackout, hosted by DJ Bandana Black, Mr. Well Connected, even more respected. You already know we got love for you. What's our stand up? DJ Bandana! Well, right now, this is my third video dealing with this WAC 100 situation. And in previous videos, we played audio where WAC. Oh, no, we won't be talking about no WAC 100. No. Now, let's continue with this whole Nolan Wells situation. I just figured out that his best friend, his so-called best friend, is the one that was involved in whatever happened to him, you know? So the autopsy showed he was murdered and buried. Well, I don't know. You gotta figure it out, man. Like they say, he was using cocaine. It does look like he used a little bit of cocaine, though. Well, I'm gonna play something for y'all, and y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. Fair use, fair use. This shit's getting deep. No one else up there.
They a victim to a lot of white folks. They love people they call, especially when they feel like they got the advantage. For example, a job, for example, at the dealership, apartment complexes. You just gotta make it make sense. You know, moving on. It's pretty cool. Message that I'm trying to get through is Mississippi is not like the other states. It's a lot of racism going on in y'all there too. A lot of them still think that we back in 1800. They really trying to do 100-day slavery. And y'all love the picture of that, just not qualified. Who's gonna kill Jimmy? The reason he got in before they quarantined was because the fact that just label his ass, he knows somebody. A year later, because you know it's always hard for the black people to get in at the same time. But a year later, Daquan got a full scholarship, running faster than Jimmy could ever be. That shit is built inside of us, man. And I don't care what you try to do, you can't stop this, man. This video is not for all. Genuinely, shout out to the ones that are trying to make a change and be on our side. And believe there is no difference between skin color, you and I. It's all love, brother. Welcome to Mississippi. I uploaded a video yesterday even explaining how black people have a hard time down here in Mississippi, and there's still a lot of prejudice, white people, and a lot of racism still going on down here. And it seems to me that my comment section got flooded with a whole lot of criticism. Now, if you can go back to my video and watch, disclosure was that wasn't for all white people. I made that video for specifically the people who know who they are, the ones that know that they treat us with slick intentions. It's like you can work around these people 24/7 and they'll smile, be all buddy with you like everything's okay. But the moment you turn your back, and some even do it in your face, they will put you the fuck down. You saying wrong? Okay, then that white person you know so well, let them get around their friends, and you will see how well they've been hiding that shit with you. Because I even had some of my brothers in the comment section telling me like, you have a time. And I'm not racist at all. Don't get me wrong. I don't have no problem with white people. I don't have to prove it to you because the people who know me know me. Welcome to Mississippi, man. Yeah, Black in Mississippi, part 3. You know, I just don't get why y'all so mad. It's in response to the last video that I posted about how much racism is in Mississippi right now. I've seen a lot of y'all in the comment section talking about, oh, y'all got black mayors, y'all got black vice presidents. Most of Mississippi population is blah blah 85% this and that. Let's take away from that for a second. It's not about the population, man. That's not what I was getting. I was getting that situations like Nolan Williams, how cases dealing with black men all of a sudden. But the term just don't sit right with me, man. Understand case is that's just some of it. The people that ain't in Mississippi, you can save their comments. Because you don't know what it's like being born and raised here. You don't know what it's like being around a primary all white group, being the only black person there. Just your presence makes the whole situation feels like you're on level. You don't know what my two folks. You brought your child to one of our functions, they would have no problem.
or feeling any type of way about feeling they all family. Back in Mississippi. And I swear this girl got here's what most people don't realize about being black in Mississippi. You right, that's me. For the people that don't know me, I go by the name Chase. For my social media platforms, I go by the name OG Inside You. And I've been covering this topic for about a week now. And those topics also include the Nolan Wells case. Now, I don't have direct insights on the case, of course. I wasn't there. But we are talking about a brother. We're talking about a young man, a little bit younger than me, lost his life because he didn't know no better. And I'm going to tell you why. Ocean Spring has a percentage of 79.6% white people, 11.6% blacks. I'm going to bring facts in before I have to say what I have to say. I know, living in Mississippi, that's very true. I was working at a job out of Ocean Springs, Whataburger, and all the high school kids would come through there, pack the place out. I would consistently see two black boys every time. Never seen more than five. And I would always ask myself, I wonder if they know any better. Because my mama, me on game a long time ago. Ain't happening. It don't got to be right then and there. It don't have to happen next week. But later on down that line, y'all, they wasn't your friends. They weren't your homeboys. You hear me? Homeboys. Here's what most people don't realize about being black in Mississippi. You right, that's me. For the people that don't know me, I go by the name Chuck. Here's what I believe after growing up here in Mississippi. Not only did I cover the topic about racism, but I also addressed the fact about the Nolan Wells case. I will understand that all y'all might not agree, and it's not for all y'all to agree. I'm here to be honest, speak on topics that y'all might be uncomfortable with. For me, all I want is answer. All I want is a good reason on why. We just all trying to get by, man. There is no reason. There is no reason. Y'all rather stay divided. Hmm? You should hate to be in the same category as a black man. Huh? What I really believe about being in Mississippi is that it will never change. It's gonna stay divided. No matter how hard you try to change it, it's gonna stay divided. But I got something to tell you though. I got two main points that I want to make here right now for the ones watching. James chapter 2, verse 9. Showing partiality when favoritism is a sin. Remember, you don't have to answer to me. You got to answer to that man upstairs. Romans chapter 2, verse 11. God does not show partiality or treat one group better than another. As bad as it might seem, us black people love y'all because we have family members that are also the same color as y'all. Have you noticed that every black person support every race group just for them to turn their back on us? Tell me I'm lying. But stay tuned. Welcome to Mississippi. Here's what let me tell you something about Mississippi. What most people don't realize, the majority of people act like they don't see it. And I've been posting videos on this whole week about how hard black people got it now. And if you scroll through the comments, you will see a lot of people saying, well, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just get your stuff up and go? So here's the thing. A lot of us was born and raised in Mississippi. And the saying truth is all we know is Mississippi. It's like they're saying it's easier said than done. But eventually, I'm pretty sure at a set point in time, we will get our thing up and go. See, for me, it's two types of people in this world. The ones that live it happy and the ones that do something about it. You must not hear the words coming out of my mouth. These people are going to trap you in Mississippi through the system, through jobs, through financial hardship, and some even family and kids. I wish I could just pack my stuff up and leave tomorrow. But if you catch a dolphin out the water and throw him on land, do you think that dolphin is going to eat land for? But it's a lot tougher than you think. If you know me, I don't make excuses. It's going to get done. But please, stop trying to make excuses for Mississippi. And realize it's just a corrupt system down here. We shouldn't have to pack our stuff up and leave. Up in Mississippi. Most people don't realize this about Mississippi or even realize what it's like being black. You want to know why they hate us so bad? Because we just better in all aspects. Sport, music, art, what we wear our hair, the fashion. They just hate to see us in the spotlight. Their biggest fear is a black man walking in the room and all the attention shifts to him. And it's not so much of who is this guy? They want to know how. And then they try to find out what they could do to stop it. Nolan Well, he was the spotlight. And I don't care what you say. You can get mad. You can stay in the comment section. But they took away his spotlight. They didn't want him to be great. They didn't like the aura that he carried. We're just naturally good at everything. And here's the sad thing. We're not trying to do that. We're just being ourselves. And how can y'all have so much hate for somebody that's just being themselves? One thing about it, you might hear a lot about a black person killing a black person. But what you don't understand, push come to shove, forbid something bad happen. I guarantee you, the black community will stand up. Just like y'all thought the black community would stand up on this case with Nolan Williams. We ain't letting it go. Not gonna let it go. This will be history. Your kids don't hear about it. And their kids don't hear about it. Because we deserve that recognition. We deserve for these cases to be solved and not undetermined. Whether he did drown, you still have to hold them accountable for leaving him. And that's what we're trying to get y'all to understand. Welcome to Mississippi. If you ever wish payday came any sooner, this might actually help. There's a banking app called.
So y'all let me know, man. What y'all think about it? I mean, the Nolan Well case is a serious case, man. I mean, how did he drown? He drowned from jumping off the boat? How did he get off the boat? What was his clothes? It's just crazy. Let's listen to the autopsy, mom shit. Fair use, y'all. I hope we get something substantial here. This is TMZ report. Fair use, y'all.
On his skull, which could involve foul play, but it also could be something like blood pooling when the body was on a slab at the morgue. So we don't know. Right now, there are really no conclusions, at least that have been made public. The official autopsy results remain sealed. They will not be released probably for a while because the DA has already said this case is going to go before a grand jury. And the grand jury is going to, I think, do a couple of things. One, they can subpoena witnesses because remember, the sheriff can't do that. If the sheriff goes to somebody and asks, hey, we'd like to talk to you, the person can tell the sheriff to take a hike. Um, the grand jury, they can subpoena somebody, put him under oath, and they either testify or they take the fifth. But they can force somebody to sit and presumably talk about what happened to Nolan Wells on July 4th. So I think that's where we are right now. That grand jury, by the way, has the ability to indict but again, we don't know what the grand jury is going to do, whether the DA is going to complete the entire investigation and then go to the grand jury and then ask the grand jury to indict, or whether the DA will go as far as the DA can and then say, we need you to get additional information. Yeah, so we'll start with the investigative phase. To your point, they can compel witnesses to provide information or to testify. They can also compel individuals to give records up to the investigative grand jury as well, which could open up things like text records. I know that they can get those from the phone companies without the grand jury, but it makes it a lot easier to be able to go directly to the source to get information that they might want as an investigative matter. Then, depending on what they find, to your point, they can absolutely convert that into an indicting grand jury, and they can try to get indictments against any potential wrongdoers. Or, and we have to say this, and I think it's important to say, or they can conclude this was a tragic accident and that there's no criminality. And I think people have got to remember that is an absolute possibility on the table here, because there's been a lot of chatter online and by various people, who have gone to the media, but there is no clear path right now to any criminality that at least has been disclosed, except for one thing. There's already been an arrest, but the arrest doesn't have to do with Nolan
not
Wells.
related. Yeah, so we know that all the boys that were originally a part of the 3 boats that went out to Horn Island on 4th of July with Nolan, all those boys, we're told, have been cooperated behind the scenes with police, but have been receiving an overwhelming amount of threats, not just them, but also their family as well. The family of Warren Hudson, specifically his mother, who is a judge, who, you know, the internet uncovered pretty early on when trying to piece together all the pieces of this case. She, we're told, got a lot of threats, specifically from this one man who is known as a Sacramento area man, was arrested. And we know that the FBI had been looking into a lot of these threats. A lot of the families have been threatened. Some of them credible, some of them not. But they are showing that this is very serious. They're taking these threats very seriously, and this man is behind bars.
And there is something else that one of the boys who was friends with Nolan, his dad talked to the New York Post and said they are considering filing a defamation lawsuit against Ben Crump for insinuating that there might be foul play here and that these boys might be involved. Now, he has not filed anything yet.
And this is the same father that's actually married to the judge of, which is Warren Hudson's mother. And we did also get a statement from Dr. Benjamin Hudson a couple days ago, and he had said that he is willing to give, you know, $50K to whoever helps lead them to a possible arrest and conviction of someone that may have contributed to Nolan Wells' death. And he was pretty upset, talked about all the death threats, said that their families specifically have been receiving thousands of death threats because of Ben Crump, you know, during his press conferences saying things like, these boys, why did they leave him on the island? What happened? Talking about the audio, that dispatch audio that we had obtained, which was the dispatch audio to Sea Tow when one of the boats was sinking, and you could possibly hear stuff going on in the background.
Here's the stuff in the background that's important, that there's a lot of talk that they said the word Nolan and he's dead. And if you try and hear that, maybe you can. But what we've kind of concluded based on video that we received is that Nolan was not on that boat, that's the boat at the beginning of the trip back from Horn Island.
Yeah.
And that Nolan is not on that boat, and that's the boat that went into distress a few minutes after leaving Horn Island. Nolan was not on that boat. ABC News is saying that authorities have said that there are two witnesses they've talked to that placed Nolan on the island as late as 6 o'clock in the evening, long after that boat left, and that he had been drinking heavily. Now, I don't think that leads to any particular conclusion, except that it seems to basically eliminate those kids from anything that ultimately may have happened to Nolan, if it's all true that he stayed behind on the island, was drinking, people saw him, and the boat had long gone by that point, right?
I mean, it doesn't mean that somebody did not contribute to his death. It's, you know, we're still looking at all the facts and hearing all the tips, but it's just exactly what you said, Harvey, excluding all the boys who had originally been accused on social media of having something to do with his death. It kind of eliminates that.
This is exactly why the DA needs to act quickly as it can, do a thorough investigation, and then be completely transparent. Because unless all that happens,
I disagree. The DA should not be driven by a flurry on social media, because that leads to bad investigations.
I want a good investigation, but the public outcry is going to be too great unless we come up full transparency here exactly what they found.
If the DA starts to bend to social media, God help us.
Hey, this is Trent Out Loud, YouTuber. I think the judge threats and the Benjamin Crump defamation lawsuit is just a distraction. I think it's incredibly telling that a white woman goes out and shows us the threats she's getting, and within days there is an arrest, but there has been zero arrests when it comes to the Nolan Xavier Wells case. Do you have any idea how many threats Christine has gotten? How come there's nobody arresting for the people that are threatening her?
Well, no, listen, you first have to determine if there's foul play, right? And I don't know that they've determined that yet. So you don't go out and start arresting people until you know, A, if there's foul play, and B, who did it. But just because there hasn't been doesn't mean there's not a real investigation behind it.
Agreed. But now let's talk about that picture that you showed up of the boat. We got that picture from Officer Tatum, former Officer Tatum. How do we know when that picture was taken? We have no metadata. We have no proof. How do we know that? And also,
Well, what the video? It's not a big. We're talking about.
we put out pictures and video.
I know, but the video, we can align the video with the distress call, and he wasn't on that boat.
Yeah, but Harvey, how do you know? Has former Officer Tatum, has he provided you guys with the metadata? Do you know 100% when that video and those pictures were taken? Can you confirm to me right now that it was taken on July the 4th?
That's what we have concluded based on everything we've looked at, metadata, talking to people, and aligning it with the distress call. Yeah. Now, look, anything is possible. I'm certainly not saying it wasn't foul play because I don't know. It's just, I think, jumping to conclusions at the beginning and starting to point fingers at people without really knowing. It may be fair, but what if it's really unfair and you're kind of tarnishing people who really shouldn't be tarnished? Shouldn't that be a concern?
I think if anybody who jumped to conclusions first was the Mississippi officers that jumped to conclusions 1 hour after finding his body and said, no evidence of foul play. They jumped to conclusions, not us.
Well, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
They just want the truth.
I think that's fair. I also think there is a spotlight on them right now, and they know they better do a thorough investigation.
And then it's here tomorrow. Yes, sir. So one of those, and we're doing both.
So what does that tell y'all right there? Mississippi don't want to do no investigation for this black man. So yeah, if they killed him or not. The racism part is they don't want to do an investigation for this black man, and they automatically concluded that he died of a accident or some sort of natural cause, you know? Which it's crazy to me. But people can't differentiate the two, you know? I mean, let's be honest here. Even if the kids didn't kill him, they left his body on the island and they went back home. If they didn't know he was dead or alive yet.
Of the three young men's version
that's
without
question. But it is not too straightforward. There's a lot of holes in their story. Let's get a little bit more up there.
Brandon Tatum rejected Mathis's conclusions outright, asserting that the judge lacked the full picture and needed to review the interview conducted with Warren Hudson. Tatum maintained that every companion had described Nolan choosing to remain with a young woman and that he had personally examined text messages from Katie that supported this version. Those messages, according to Tatum, confirmed the group heard calls for Nolan to board the boat and that he did not appear. Tatum further criticized reliance on Katie's account, describing her as someone who barely knew Nolan, while elevating the statements of the closer friends he had interviewed. The rebuttal, however, drew exclusively from materials supplied by the same companions under examination. No independent witness statements, forensic results, or official investigative findings were introduced to counter Mathis. The invitation to watch the recorded interview effectively required acceptance of a version already filtered through Tatum's platform rather than cross-checked against external sources. The texts from Katie, cited as corroboration, were never released in complete original form for public or independent review.
Katie, who you allegedly stayed back to be with, her sister says that they weren't spending a lot of time with Nolan and that they also left without Nolan, meaning they had seen Nolan go somewhere when they were leaving. Did he just y'all just shake, hug, and walk away? And then someone saw him and said, "Hey, let's get with him because he kissing and hugging on that white woman, and we don't play that and don't want to play that." Or is it, as I think it is, that they had something to do with his drowning, and they come up with a variety of alibis that don't make sense.
When the enhanced CETO transmission is placed beside the same timeline, the contradictions sharpen. The call originated near the western tip of Horn Island, the area where Nolan's body was later recovered. Background audio captured urgent questions about whether someone was dead, expressions of panic, and repeated references to Nolan by name. Analysts, including Mathis, observed that the speakers appeared to be describing a situation already underway, rather than merely reporting a sinking vessel. The language suggested observation of an injured or unresponsive person at the moment help was requested. If authentic, the recording elevates the inquiry from mechanical boat failure to potential knowledge of, or direct involvement in, the condition that left Nolan dead.
So that's a whole new level of evidence that I'm interested in seeing where they go with that. And perhaps that's what the prosecutor may have all of this information and say, we're not sharing it because we don't want to bias, we don't want to create bias, et cetera, in the case, because in the media, and she may have that. She may have that and take it right to the grand jury. Even if you were calling to say there was a fight, it sounds like you're looking at something that has already happened and you witnessed what happened and you're saying, did he die from what I just saw? That's what you're saying. Oh, is he dead? Or what? Somebody walked you from around the park and said, hey, or around the other boat dock and say, hey, come look at this. No, you were there.
After a long period without new updates, the family of the victim has finally issued statements again regarding their views on the recent evidence and clues, and on the accounts given by Nolan's friends about what happened on the island. On the Chris Cuomo program, Elmore Wansley was asked directly about Traciston Shepard, the young man who had appeared on Officer Tatum's channel claiming a close friendship with Nolan that stretched back to the 9th grade, complete with shared spring break trips to Florida and photographs from prom and homecoming.
Elmore, you heard that kid Trace in the interview say that he was friends with Nolan and that you guys would know him. Do you know him? Do you recognize him?
No, I don't. Just because you park your vehicle in someone's yard doesn't mean that they have to know you. It's more sounds more to me like he's more focused on getting people to know him and getting away from the fact that his so-called best friend is not him anymore. Everyone that they may have interviewed are at home. Our son should be in college right now. We should be receiving phone calls from them daily, but we can't. And we just want everybody to focus on what the real subject matter is.
Elmore's response was unambiguous. The mere fact that someone had parked a vehicle in a family's yard did not create an obligation for that family to recognize the person as a known friend of their son. The statement underscored a broader refusal by the Wansleys to accept the degree of intimacy several of the companions were now asserting in public interviews. Christine Wansley returned repeatedly to the single question that had driven the family from the first day. What happened to Nolan? That question remained unchanged. It was not a demand for a particular narrative. It was a demand for a coherent account that matched the available timeline, the physical evidence, and the behavior of those who returned without it.
It is really the same question that started it all, which is what happened to Nolan. That is the only question that we want answered. We just want to know what happened to our son. I know I personally, through my social media, also Attorney Ben and his team through their social media, that's been the big focus, just trying to make sure that everyone understands that at the end of the day, we would want what any parent would want, which is answers to find out what happened.
The family's skepticism toward the companion's media appearances rested on several concrete inconsistencies. The accounts given by the young men had shifted over time on critical points. The moment they left the island, the identity of any person Nolan supposedly stayed behind with, and the handling of his phone. Those shifts stood in contrast to the early public statements issued by local authorities. Within hours of the body's recovery, officials had already described the death as likely an accidental drowning and had stated there was no evidence of foul play. The family viewed those pronouncements as premature, issued before a complete investigation or an independent autopsy could be completed, and based largely on the version supplied by the same group that had returned without Nolan.
Chris Como, Nolan is dead. We're going to dot every I, we're going to cross every T, we're going to look at every rock. His mother called his phone repeatedly with no answer. That raises questions. That's all we want to get to is answers. If this was your child, Chris Como, wouldn't you want to ask every question possible for everybody who was on Born Island to say, did you see what happened to Nolan? What happened? Where was he at? And that's what they're asking. The people are attacking them for trying to get. Can you imagine that? She's getting attacked at her job. She's getting bad job reviews. She had never got any in her entire career. And now, since we've been going on TV saying, I want to get answers for my son, she's been attacked by sick individuals trying to, I guess, in some way discourage them from continuing to say his name and say that we won't let it be swept under the rug.
Behavior after the fact deepened the distrust. The companions retained Nolan's phone and returned it only later. They did not immediately notify the family when it became clear he had not come home. Their first extended public interviews, particularly those conducted on Officer Tatum's platform, occurred only after the Wansleys had spoken out forcefully, retained Benjamin Crump, and drawn national attention. The choice of that particular channel carried weight for the family. Tatum had already positioned himself as a defender of the companion's version, that Nolan had chosen to remain behind, and had criticized both the family and their attorney. The interviews therefore appeared, from the family's perspective, less as spontaneous efforts at clarification, and more as controlled responses shaped after public pressure had already mounted. The phone itself remained a persistent point of friction. Christine had called Nolan's number repeatedly after he was reported missing. No one answered. According to the companions, the device had been on the boat with them the entire time. The unanswered calls raised a practical question the family could not set aside. If the phone was in their possession and they claimed genuine concern, why did it go unanswered while the search for Nolan was already underway? In addition to the clue about the new witness, Officer Tatum also mentioned important information about Nolan's condition while on the island. He has relayed information from sources he regards as credible concerning activity on Horn Island on July 4. According to those accounts, an individual present that day invited others to use controlled substances. A person close to Nolan Wells is said to have declined the invitation. The same sources, or others near Nolan, have expressed a high degree of certainty, described in percentages ranging from 100 to 150, that official toxicology results will show substances in the victim's system. Tatum has repeatedly noted that the information remains unverified by him personally. He has stated he will await the formal toxicology findings before assessing its accuracy, and that he knows the identities of those linked to the substance references, but has chosen to provide the names to investigators first, rather than release them publicly. Preliminary records from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, obtained through reporting channels, document that multiple witnesses told investigators the victim had engaged in heavy alcohol intake on July 4. Some coverage has employed stronger language characterizing him as heavily intoxicated and impaired. Warren Hudson, in his interview, acknowledged that Nolan had been drinking, yet maintained that Nolan appeared completely fine each time the two spoke. Forensic specialists have long noted that bacterial activity during decomposition can generate alcohol in the blood after death.
Are announcing that we have the audio from the officials, and we have retained in our consultant with some of the foremost audio engineering experts to review those audio tapes from the CETO call in its entirety. And remember what Dr. Roger Mitchell said in his autopsy. President Mario, he talked about the fact that to say he drowned does not draw the conclusions of what happened to Nolan Wells. He said it is equally important to know at what condition was Nolan Wells' body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or was he unconscious? Was he forced into the water or did he go unforced into the water? He said all of these things are very important. Somebody knows something. As Christine and Elmore have said, if you're really Nolan's friend, you know in your whole heart that if the roles were reversed, that Nolan would say something. He would call and tell what he saw. And so that's all they're asking. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you.
As a result, any modest alcohol level later reported would not by itself prove consumption while Nolan was alive. Neither the state autopsy nor the independent examination has released toxicology results. The independent autopsy performed by Dr. Roger Mitchell did not include drug testing. Attorney Ben Crump has indicated that the independent pathologist recommended any toxicology findings be presented to a grand jury for interpretation. The family, through Crump, has framed the repeated emphasis on alcohol and the unverified substance claims as a diversion. In their view, the focus shifts public attention from the circumstances of Nolan's death and the possibility of foul play toward questions about his character and lifestyle. Supporters of the family have described the pattern as reputation replacement, an approach that reduces public sympathy for the victim and thereby lessens pressure for a thorough investigation of the events on the island. They have drawn parallels to earlier cases in which the personal habits of the deceased became central topics, while core questions about the incident itself remained unresolved. Two contrasting interpretations have taken shape in public discussion. One holds that heavy drinking, combined with substance use, if the toxicology ultimately confirms it, could explain a loss of physical control in the water and an accidental drowning. The other holds that the sustained attention to substances, particularly the still unconfirmed substance use reports, serves to obscure other unresolved elements of the timeline, the handling of the phone, the last confirmed sightings of Nolan, and inconsistencies among witness statements, thereby reducing scrutiny of those who were present on the island that day. At present, the official toxicology findings remain unreleased. All references to substance continue to rest on unverified source accounts, while the description of heavy alcohol intake rests on witness statements recorded in the preliminary marine resources documents. The family continues to urge that attention remain on determining the cause and manner of death rather than on lifestyle speculation. Beyond the latest information and updates, the Nolan Wells case has drawn significant opinions and viewpoints from prominent figures in the legal field, particularly amid suspicions of local cover-ups. This time, the well-known Judge Mathis has also offered his assessments of the case. Gregory Ellis Mathis served as a judge on Michigan's 36th District Court from approximately 1995 to 1998, one of the youngest elected judges in the state's history, before becoming a nationally recognized television court host. In public comments on the Nolan Wells matter, Mathis has articulated a position of reasonable suspicion that a crime may have occurred. He has focused on discrepancies between the accounts given by Nolan's friends and those connected to the young woman identified as Katie. The friends have stated that they repeatedly called for Nolan to board the boat and that he declined, choosing instead to remain on the island with Katie. Accounts linked to Katie, relayed through friends or relatives, indicate that she encountered Nolan only briefly, did not spend substantial time with him, and that her group also departed the island without him. Mathis has treated these conflicting descriptions as undermining the reliability of the claim that Nolan voluntarily stayed behind alone. He has also directed attention to findings from the independent autopsy that recorded a red discoloration at the back of the head and neck area, although the independent pathologist has not classified the marking as trauma. Mathis has described it as bruising and noted that the location corresponds to the place where hands would be applied if someone were holding the victim's head underwater. He has questioned how such a mark would appear in a straightforward drowning and has used it to raise the possibility of intention. Mathis has placed the case against the historical backdrop of Mississippi, drawing a comparison to the 1955 killing of Emmett Till. He has framed the parallel in terms of optics. A young black man associated with a white woman who later dies under suspicious circumstances in the same state. He has acknowledged that the comparison concerns surface similarities rather than identical facts, and that he is, to some degree, speculating in the absence of complete official disclosures. Nevertheless, he has maintained that the combination of location, the reported association, and the unexplained death generates reasonable suspicion that criminal activity may have taken place and that a thorough investigation is required. The core of Mathis's stated position is that the number of inconsistencies and unresolved details is too great to accept a simple accidental drowning without further scrutiny. He has argued that the possibility of third-party involvement must be examined. Officer Tatum has publicly rejected the Emmett Till comparison, stating that Till was a 14-year-old boy forcibly removed from a relative's home and murdered by adults acting with clear intent, whereas Nolan was an 18-year-old who, according to the friend's account, chose to remain after being urged to leave. Tatum has characterized the analogy as inappropriate and disrespectful to Till's family, while also noting that the Wells case continues to contain unexplained elements. Mathis's comments, therefore, rest on three principal observations drawn from the publicly discussed record: the divergent statements concerning Nolan's final interactions on the island, the unexplained red discoloration at the rear of the head and neck, and the historical resonance he perceives in the broader circumstances. He has presented these points as grounds for reasonable suspicion rather than as definitive proof, emphasizing the need for investigators to resolve the contradictions and to determine whether the physical findings and timeline support or refute the accident hypothesis. Legal action is also being taken on the part of the suspects. Bart Edmiston Jr. operated his own boat to Horn Island on July 4 and provided direct technical assistance when another vessel began taking on water after its bilge pump failed. He boarded the distressed boat, removed the transom plug to allow accumulated water to drain, returned to his own vessel, and towed the other craft a short distance. According to the family's formal statement, more than 20 people aboard the two boats witnessed these actions. Edmiston subsequently cooperated fully with investigators. He sat for interviews, answered every question put to him, made his telephone available for examination, shared photographs and videos from that day, permitted inspection of his boat and GPS unit, and compiled a list of potential witnesses. Authorities have never identified him as a suspect in Nolan Wells's death. The family maintains that his involvement was limited to mechanical aid and that he had no connection to the decision to leave Nolan behind. Online activity rapidly attached a different narrative to his name. Social media accounts accused him of a romantic relationship with the young woman Nolan was said to have remained with and of participating in a cover-up. The family received credible death threats, serious enough to prompt an FBI investigation. Posts also disclosed the residential address, land plat details, and employment information of family members, converting online speculation into concrete security risks. In response, the family retained counsel, issued a public statement condemning the false claims and threats, and transmitted a cease and desist letter accompanied by a preservation notice to at least one influencer identified as Kimberly Lee and associated aliases. Preparation for a defamation lawsuit against those alleged to have fabricated and circulated the damaging material is underway. The family of Warren Hudson has faced parallel pressure. They received a preservation notice from counsel for the Wells family requiring the immediate retention of all potentially relevant materials, a notice that also reached Judge Ashley Cole, Warren's mother or stepmother. Online attacks and threats directed at the judge because of her judicial position have continued for weeks. Judge Cole earlier released a public statement affirming that her son had cooperated with police, that the family had not obstructed the investigation, and that circulating rumors were false. Reports indicate the family is evaluating or preparing legal action to counter the false accusations and harassment, though no formal filing has been publicly confirmed. Dr. Benjamin Hudson, Warren's father, announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone responsible for Nolan Wells's death. He stated that the family does not know whether another party was involved, but remains interested in establishing the truth. The same household has received thousands of credible death threats. The reward was framed as an incentive for individuals who may possess relevant information yet fear social media retaliation. Concurrently, Dr. Hudson declared an intention to sue Benjamin Crump for defamation and slander. He accused the attorney of financially exploiting the tragedy, converting it into a political spectacle, and falsely charging his son and the other young men with murder while advancing a demonstrably false narrative. He predicted that other families subjected to similar public statements might follow with their own suits.
That accusation doesn't deserve this. It has no dignity associated with someone standing up who has died. Don't waste our time arguing with people. We don't waste our time arguing with people who want to distract from the real issue. We have 3 dead black young men.
The preservation notice from the Wells legal team, issued by Carol Bufkin, PLLC, in conjunction with Crump, arrived at the Hudson household on the day of Nolan's funeral. The combined actions mark a clear transition from online argument to formal legal confrontation. The Wells family has employed preservation notices and the preparatory steps of a potential wrongful death action to compel disclosure. Edmiston has answered with cease and desist correspondence and anticipated defamation claims aimed at false statements and threats. The Hudson side has answered threats and public accusations with a reward offer and an announced intention to pursue defamation remedies against the attorney leading the Wells effort. The result is heightened pressure on every participant connected to the July 4 outing and a demonstration of the tangible consequences that online allegations matter produced for those who were handled by attorney Gary Bufkin of Carol Bufkin PLLC, working in coordination with Ben Crump. The company's name, Meta Platforms, Snap Inc., TikTok, and Life 360 were given 21 days from service to preserve electronically stored information and to respond. Parallel to the civil process, law enforcement forensic examination of the physical phone continued, and the family had already commissioned an independent autopsy whose findings had not been publicly released at the time that subpoenas issued. Intent to sue letters had been sent earlier to individuals and agencies connected to the events of July 4. The civil subpoenas therefore operated as one strand in a broader effort to lock down digital material before ordinary retention policies could erase it and before any potential civil claims were formally filed. The legal effectiveness of the instruments rests less on an immediate flood of private messages than on 3 narrower but measurable results. First, the data is preserved. Deletion under standard business schedules is halted. Second, non-content records, subscriber details, IP addresses, activity timestamps, and limited location data are likely to be produced if the subpoenas survive initial challenges. Third, the existence of the preserved corpus creates leverage for subsequent motions seeking content under a higher showing of necessity or for negotiated production once the estate's claims are more fully developed. Courts have repeatedly recognized that an estate administrator may pursue such discovery when the digital material is relevant to potential causes of action rising from the death. The platforms retain the right to object, to narrow the request, and to insist on further judicial findings before releasing protected content. Those objections do not nullify the subpoenas. They simply define the contested territory that follows service. Historical patterns show that families who take this step rarely obtain every requested item on the first response. They do, however, convert ephemeral digital traces into records subject to court supervision. In cases involving unexplained deaths near water, that conversion has repeatedly supplied location sequences, communication metadata, and timelines that either corroborated or contradicted the accounts given by companions. When content has later been ordered produced, it has sometimes clarified the decedent's last known interactions. When it has been withheld, the non-content data alone has still constrained the possible narratives. The Wells subpoenas therefore function as a standard, enforceable mechanism within Mississippi estate practice, bounded by the Stored Communications Act, and calibrated to preserve rather than instantly disclose. Their practical yield will be determined by the company's initial responses, any subsequent motions, and the degree to which the court finds further disclosure necessary to the administration of the estate or to the resolution of claims arising from the death. A breaking update today that after the highly suspicious Cito call from Nolan's friends was finally released, the shocking images of them at that exact moment have now surfaced as well. Unlike everything we heard in that audio, Nolan is completely absent from the boat. But the suspicion didn't end, yet far from clearing anyone. This video instead exposes a series of deeply unsettling details, and Bart Edmiston Jr., whose name appears repeatedly in the audio clip, is still being angrily mentioned. Where was Nolan at this precise second, if what we were told is true? How did they make an 18-year-old vanish in broad daylight, right in front of hundreds of people still on that island? And why is a video this critical only being released now and by a YouTuber? The exclusive video and still images released on the 28th of July 2026 by the Officer Tatum Show capture a 22-foot Triton offshore sea flight, model year 2022, undertow near the western tip of Horn Island. The timestamp aligns with GPS data placing the departure at approximately 16:31 on July 4. The footage is presented as having been recorded from the vessel performing the tow itself. 4 individuals occupy positions consistent with an active recovery operation, while the remaining passengers remain seated or standing amidships. The boat moves at a markedly reduced speed, consistent with a vessel taking on water and requiring external propulsion. The passenger count matches the sea tow audio released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources.
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
Yeah, we do have to be a radio.
All right. Well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right. Looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
in
we are at
Horn
Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right. Is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were thinking, yes.
Is it aground? Is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in
Okay.
17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right. Have to what do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat on stank and towed back, yes.
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
There's a lot of people breathing on the boat.
All right. How many people, sir?
Like 7 people.
All right. Thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right. Verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22 foot offshore, 22 foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
In that call, the speaker states there are about 7 or like 7 people aboard, and adds that there's lots of people breathing on the boat. The video shows precisely 7 individuals. No additional figures appear on deck or in the water immediately surrounding the Triton. Location data further corroborates the reporting. The caller gives coordinates near 30 degrees, 14, 684, 988 degrees, 46, 79, number 1, and identifies the position as the west tip of Horn, in water depth, later corrected from 17 to 31 feet. The visual frame places the boat in that same near-shore zone rather than farther offshore. Operational details align as well. The sea tow transcript describes a failed bilge pump and water rising to ankle level, with the explicit request to get this boat unsank and towed back toward Fort Bayou Launch or Ocean Springs Harbor. The video shows the Triton under slow tow, its stern sitting low, matching the reported flooding condition. Timeline reconstruction places the recording after the sea tow call, which occurred near 16, and before the vessel resumed normal operations. GPS tracks indicate the Triton was towed roughly 2.75 to 3 miles, at speeds ranging from 0.06 to 4.2 knots. By approximately 1725, the boat regained propulsion, reached speeds of 30 to 35 knots, returned to its original dock near 1744, proceeded to Fort Bayou at 1752, returned again at 1806, and finally arrived at the Fort Bayou launch ramp at 1919 before being trailered to the owner's residence in Biloxi. However, what stands out most against the sea tow audio is the complete absence of Nolan from the boat in the video. In the call, voices can be heard calling out his name in clear panic, as if he were right there and in serious trouble.
Hey, where's the west tip of Horn and our bilge pump stopped working? We're sinking. Can y'all please tell me? I haven't understood. No, easy. Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
A version with the dispatcher's voice removed even picks up darker phrases, suggesting someone had already killed him, with Bart repeatedly blamed in the background. Yet the footage shows 7 people only, and no Nolan, at the exact moment the boat is under tow from the west tip. That leaves the open question of where Nolan was and what took place in those minutes before any help reached the group. Sea Tow itself did not perform the tow. An official statement issued by the company to NBC News states that before assistance could be rendered, the vessel owner advised that help had already been obtained and that Sea Tow's involvement ended at that point. The Sea Tow captain reported speaking with the grandfather of the caller, Jerry Atkerson, who later allowed investigators to examine the boat's GPS unit. Within the audio itself, a voice instructs someone to jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going. The MDMR summary identifies the assisting party as a 21-year-old male who owned a boat anchored nearby. Warren Hudson, who has described himself as Wells's closest friend, stated that the group received help from a friend. Online discussion has repeatedly linked the name Bart and the age match to Bart Edmondson, a former Ocean Springs High School teammate of Wells and current collegiate punter. No official confirmation from the MDMR, local law enforcement, or major news outlets has identified Edmondson as the individual who performed the tow or as an occupant of the assisting vessel. The video is asserted by its publisher to have been recorded from that assisting boat. The manner and timing of the release introduced several unresolved questions. The images and video existed from the afternoon of July 4, yet were not publicly released until July 28. And then only through a YouTube channel presenting the material as exclusive. Investigators are reported to possess other photographs or video showing Wells still on the island after 1630, along with witness statements to the same effect. Those materials have not been released in official form, nor has the towing footage been issued by any agency. The publisher is neither a participant in the events, nor an official investigator. Brandon Tatum, operating under the Officer Tatum Show, is the sole source of the public version. The camera angle originates from the vessel conducting the tow. No name of the individual operating the camera has been supplied, and no formal chain of custody statement has accompanied the release. Recording during an active recovery of a flooding vessel raises the practical question of priority, attention directed toward documentation rather than exclusively toward the mechanical task of keeping the Triton afloat. Background elements visible in the frame show numerous other boats in the vicinity, consistent with the large holiday gathering estimated in the hundreds or thousands. No corresponding footage from those other vessels has surfaced. GPS data further indicate the Triton did not return to Horn Island after 1631. Additional audio fragments from the Sea Tau call include the dispatcher's remark that they're in a panic and notes of poor signal quality on the caller's end. The released material is short in duration and of limited resolution. In a case already marked by circulating deepfake and AI-generated videos that local media have publicly flagged, the late and non-official release path has prompted questions about possible post-production alteration. No independent forensic examination has been published that concludes the towing footage is fabricated. The primary concerns remain the delay between the event and public disclosure, the identity of the releasing party, the absence of parallel recordings from other boats present at the same location, and the continued silence from both the occupants of the Triton and the crew of the assisting vessel until the material appeared through an external channel. These factors place the video's evidentiary weight under continuing scrutiny even as its surface details align with the documented timeline, passenger count, location, and mechanical condition described in the Sea Tau recording. Returning to the more substantiated suspicions in this case, after Nolan's friends gave their testimonies one by one, attention began to focus on a figure who had never appeared in public before, a friend of Nolan named Bart Edmiston Jr. He entered the public discussion surrounding the death of Nolan Wells through fragments of audio, official records requests, and statements from those present on Horn Island on July 4. Born the 18th of November 2004 in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Edmiston stood 6 feet tall and weighed between 190 and 200 pounds. He graduated from Ocean Springs High School around 2022 or 2023, where he played as a kicker and punter, and earned 6 a first-team All-State recognition. At Jones College, he was named MACCC South Special Teams Player of the Year, first-team All-MACCC, and NJCAA All-Region, while leading the nation in punt average at 44.6 yards. By the 2025 season, he had become the punter for the University of Wyoming, wearing number 18, averaging 46.1 yards per punt, ranking 12th nationally and 4th in the Mountain West, with selections to Ray's 8 and the Ray Guy Award watch list.
Which is also Bart Edmiston. I'm a junior. He kicked at the University of Florida, 1992-96. And then he's always wanted me to kick. And then I started it going into my 8th grade year. Last year, I was the only kicker on the roster. So I had to do everything by myself, my own ball boy, go fetch all my balls. But now, I have a little brother. He came up, he's in 10th grade. He's a kicker and punter also. But now I make him do all my duties for me. I make him go fetch the balls. He's my ball boy now. Kind of mean, but it's brotherly love. When I hit a good punt or a good field goal, I just chase that again.
His father, Dr. Bart J. Edmiston, is an anesthesiologist and pain management physician practicing in the Ocean Springs area, including affiliations with Memorial Hospital at Gulfport. His mother is Beth. He has younger brothers Brooks and Baylor. His grandfather also played football at the University of Florida. Public profiles list boating, fishing, and hunting among his interests. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources Incident Report MP 260700016 records that on the 8th of July 2026, Officer Shay M. Smith met Edmiston at his residence in Ocean Springs. Edmiston provided his driver's license and boat registration, signed a consent form for a search, and allowed investigators to download the complete GPS data from his Tidecraft vessel. Registration MI1295CB, equipped with a Garmin GPS map system. The boat sat on a lift at the time. The download occurred in parallel with the extraction of GPS data from the Triton vessel operated by Wyatt Pyron and registered to the Adkerson family. Warren Hudson, who has described himself as Nolan Wells's closest friend, stated in multiple interviews that he traveled to Horn Island aboard Edmiston's boat rather than the Triton. When the Triton began taking on water, Edmiston, whose vessel was anchored nearby on the tide line, used a towing strap to pull the Triton approximately a quarter mile away from the crowded area. Only after that short tow did the group contact Sea Tow. The request was later canceled because assistance had already been obtained. Jerry Adkerson, the Triton's registered owner and grandfather of one of the boat's occupants, personally spoke with the Sea Tow captain to cancel the call. Edmiston was not among the 7 individuals visible on the Triton in the towing video released on the 28th of July 2026. Audio from the sea tow call itself supplies the phrases that drew concentrated attention. Multiple listeners identify the words "damn it, Bart" or "damn it, Bart" in the background. In certain enhanced versions, the phrase "jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going," or a close variant, is audible. A female voice cries, "Oh my God." Other segments have been interpreted by online listeners as references to Nolan, "Is he dead?" or "Wake up." These fragments circulate, alongside the confirmed fact that a 21-year-old boat owner provided the initial tow. Because Edmiston matches that age, resides in Ocean Springs, and attended the same high school as Wells, online discussion has repeatedly linked the spoken name to him. Hudson has referred to the helper as "my buddy" or "my buddy Bart" on the tideline, sometimes using the first name and sometimes omitting it.
Like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was probably ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line. It was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat. You know, if the boat doesn't get in, then no one gets in. You know, I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat. No one does, but my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we kind of got out there because he got the motor to trim down.
No major news organization has published an official confirmation from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the Department of Marine Resources, or the FBI stating that Edmiston was the individual who performed the tow, that he was present on the Triton, or that he is under investigation as a suspect. The relative scarcity of Edmiston's name in early public statements has itself become a focal point of speculation. Official press releases and most mainstream reporting described the helper only as a 21-year-old friend or noted that help had already been obtained. Investigative agencies routinely withhold the identities of peripheral witnesses, while an inquiry remains open, particularly when those individuals have cooperated and are not charged. Several members of the group retained counsel early. The towing video and the raw sea tow audio reached wide circulation before the full MDMR report containing Edmiston's name and the GPS download became broadly available through records requests. The sequence produced the appearance of deliberate omission, even though the records themselves document the meeting, the consent search, and the data extraction on July 8. Online narratives have constructed a sequence in which the bilge pump failure, the sea tow call, the subsequent cancellation, and the short tow by Edmiston's boat function as a staged distraction. Proponents of that view point to the proximity of the Triton's last known position to the location where Wells later washed ashore, the presence of 7 people on a vessel that was taking on water in calm conditions, and the background audio as evidence of knowledge of Wells's condition at the moment the call was placed. No physical evidence, autopsy finding, or official statement has been released that places Edmiston on the Triton or attributes any act of violence to him. The GPS data from his vessel were collected and retained. Whether those tracks place him at specific coordinates at specific times has not been disclosed. No arrest warrant, search warrant targeting Edmiston beyond the voluntary consent already given, or charging document has been filed. The same records that establish Edmiston's presence on the island and his brief assistance with the Triton also establish the limits of what is known. He was on Horn Island on July 4. He operated a separate boat. He provided a short tow. Investigators obtained his GPS data with his consent 4 days later. Beyond those points, the public record contains no further confirmed actions. The gap between the documented facts and the interpretations built from the audio fragments continues to generate discussion, yet every official channel has declined to elevate Edmiston from witness status. The investigation remains open. The audio remains subject to competing transcriptions, and the name, Bart Edmiston Jr., continues to appear in online commentary far more frequently than it appears in the formal statements of the agencies conducting the inquiry. Moved to the side of the Nolan Wells's family. On the day of Nolan Wells's funeral, the Ridgeland law firm Carroll Bufkin PLLC, working alongside civil rights attorney Ben Crump, issued notices of intent to a group of recipients that included parents of several of Wells's friends and certain local officials connected to the investigation.
when you think about, the contradictions, the things that just make you scratch your head. I mean, you have this 18-year-old kid who went out celebrating on the 4th of July with his friends on a boat. And tragically, they all came back, but Nolan didn't. And Nolan was the only African American in the group. And so it is like making people harking back to the sins of the past in the state of Mississippi. And so I think that's why people are so concerned with getting to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells. It is so many things that don't pass the smell test here. Nolan was a college football player. I mean, he was in superior shape. His family and a lot of his friends are not accepting that this was a drowning, an accidental drowning. As a civil rights lawyer, I think the public outcry is warranted because you can't escape, the history in America, and especially in the deep South, like places like Mississippi, where you have had racial killings where there was no held accountable.
The formal language of the letters placed the recipients on notice that litigation concerning Wells's death was reasonably anticipated and imposed an immediate legal duty to preserve all materials in their possession, custody, or control that might prove relevant. The directive specifically required the suspension of any automatic deletion or overwrite functions and the retention of phones, text messages, photographs, videos, social media content, emails, and related documents in their original form. Supporters of the Wells family characterized the timing and the scope of the demand as a necessary escalation designed to prevent the destruction of potential evidence, while the official inquiry continued. The independent autopsy performed by Dr. Roger Mitchell Jr. listed both the cause and the manner of death as undetermined pending further investigation. The examination noted reddish discoloration in the soft tissue at the back of the head and reported that the neck structures had already been removed during the state autopsy, preventing their inspection. The full results of the state autopsy and the accompanying toxicology reports remained unreleased. Christine Wansley, Wells's mother, repeatedly expressed frustration at the absence of clear information on whether foul play had been ruled out. Trump continued to call publicly for a thorough and transparent investigation, citing concern that the case might be closed prematurely as an accident. However, in the same period, Wansley's professional Google listing as a family nurse practitioner at Memorial Physician Clinics received a concentrated wave of one-star reviews. The accounts posting the reviews lacked verifiable patient histories, and the comments alleged inadequate care or racial bias. Legal representatives associated with Trump described the review campaign as an organized effort to damage her livelihood while she sought answers about her son's death. Criticism of the pace and opacity of the official response centered on several concrete points. A key towing video reached the public through a YouTube channel rather than through a law enforcement release. The identity of the 21-year-old boat owner who provided the short tow remained unconfirmed in early official statements. The sea tow audio continued to generate competing transcriptions even after an official version circulated. District Attorney Angel Myers McElrath stated that silence on certain details was required by the Mississippi Rules of Professional Conduct and did not reflect indifference. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office continued to solicit original photographs and videos from the public. Attorney General Lynn Fitch issued a warning that threats against investigators would be prosecuted. Family representatives in Crump argued that the cumulative effect of delayed disclosures, incomplete autopsy information, and limited identification of peripheral actors fostered an environment of speculation and eroded confidence that all relevant evidence was being pursued.
The history of Mississippi is something that they don't just read about in books, but it's a lived experience for many Black Americans that oftentimes when our children are in highly questionable situations, that there is this notion that Oh, there was nothing wrong, no foul play. Let's just sweep it under the rug. Well, we refuse to sweep it under the rug. We refuse to just let Nolan Wells' death be in vain. We are going to make sure that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Because Nolan deserves it. You're going to hear his mother and father talk about what a wonderful young man he was. If the roles were reversed, and you had three young black men on a boat with a young white man, and that young white man ended up dead, what kind of investigation would be being conducted by the Mississippi law enforcement officials? How many times would those three young black men be interrogated?
Historical patterns in Mississippi supplied a frequent point of reference in public discussion. In 2023, 6 former Rankin County deputies, known as the Goon Squad, pleaded guilty to charges arising from bad treatment of 2 black men. Separate Department of Justice investigations have examined allegations of systemic racial bias in small-town law enforcement practices across the state. Earlier civil rights confrontations, including the 1970 incident at Jackson State, remain cited as markers of long-standing distrust. Parallel was drawn to the 2023 death of T.J. Davis in St. Paul, Minnesota. Davis, a young black man, was found floating in the Mississippi River after an outing with 4 white friends. Officers transported the friends from the scene to one of the friends' father's house rather than to a police station. Video captured the group laughing inside the patrol car. The friends subsequently deleted social media accounts, declined to attend the funeral, and refused contact with Davis's family. Authorities announced that no foul play was indicated. Commentators, including the radio host Willie D., described the sequence: black victim, white companions, death near water, controlled information flow, and an early declaration of accident as a recurring template. A separate narrative strand focused on Wells's alcohol consumption. A preliminary Mississippi Department of Marine Resources document obtained by ABC News recorded witness descriptions of heavy alcohol intake on July 4.
In the death of Nolan Wells, where investigators say the 18-year-old went missing on July 4th and spent her day drinking heavily. Now, that is coming from a document that was obtained by ABC News through a public records request. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources compiled a brief list of information about Wells, and one of the first agencies to respond was them. The document said it was unknown what Wells had eaten that day, but described his alcohol intake as heavy. A private autopsy also ruled his cause and manner of death undetermined, with the official autopsy still pending.
Certain media accounts amplified the phrase, referring to Wells as sloppy drunk. Supporters of the family labeled the emphasis a form of reputation replacement, a shift of public attention from the unresolved circumstances of the death to questions about the victim's character. They cited earlier cases involving Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Sonia Massey as instances in which limited physical evidence was accompanied by concentrated scrutiny of the deceased's personal history. The counter-argument advanced in those discussions held that the quantity of alcohol consumed, whatever its precise measure, does not itself establish the mechanism of death and cannot substitute for a complete accounting of the final hours. No official statement has linked the alcohol descriptions to a final determination of manner of death, and the independent autopsy continues to list that determination as pending. The notices of intent, the incomplete autopsy findings, the review campaign directed at Wansley, the historical comparisons, and the circulating characterizations of Wells's conduct together form the current public record of pressure surrounding the case. Official agencies maintain that investigative constraints and professional rules govern the release of information. Family representatives and their counsel maintain that the same constraints have produced gaps large enough to invite both speculation and targeted personal attacks. The litigation notices remain the sole formal step yet taken towards civil accountability, while the criminal inquiry continues without publicly announced charges or a completed determination of manner of death. Returning to the biggest questions surrounding the case over the past few days is why, despite numerous crucial clues and accusations, no clear legal action or investigation has taken place. Many people wonder whether Nolan's friends could have been arrested, To understand this, we need to clarify the investigative procedures of the local authorities where the crime occurred. In Jackson County, Mississippi, every non-natural death is submitted to a grand jury once the investigation is complete. The presentation does not itself establish that a crime occurred. The grand jury's sole function is to determine whether sufficient probable cause exists to return an indictment. As of late July 2026, the investigation into the death of Nolan Wells remained in that preparatory stage. Approximately 60 witnesses had been interviewed. The FBI was assisting with the analysis of digital evidence and had begun reviewing reported threats directed at investigators, witnesses, and family members. GPS data from the Triton and from the assisting vessel had been downloaded. A partial version of the CETO audio had been released by the Department of Marine Resources. The full state autopsy findings continued to be withheld pending presentation to the grand jury. An independent autopsy performed by Dr. Roger Mitchell Jr. listed both cause and manner of death as undetermined pending further investigation. A reward of $125,000, assembled from contributions by Terrell Owens, Tyler Perry, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and others, remained available for information leading to an arrest and conviction. An official tip line operated by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office circulated publicly, though some online postings briefly confused the number with the private line of a local judge, generating unconfirmed claims of conflict of interest. Several concrete obstacles stood between the existing record and any arrest. Neither the state autopsy nor the independent examination had produced a definitive determination of cause or manner of death. No publicly disclosed physical evidence, visible traumatic injuries consistent with criminal assault, surveillance footage of an assault, or DNA linking a specific individual to an act of violence had been identified. Statements from the group of friends, the towing video showing 7 people aboard the Triton with Wells absent, and the available GPS tracks all aligned with the account that Wells remained on Horn Island after the boat departed at approximately 4:31 p.m. Mississippi rules of professional conduct restrict prosecutors and investigators from releasing evidentiary details while an inquiry remains open and before grand jury presentation, even if the completed file reaches a grand jury. That remains may decline to indict if the evidence fails to meet the probable cause threshold. Former FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffendaffer publicly observed that the material then available in the open record appeared consistent with an accidental death.
I think 2 things can be true at once. It makes sense that he went off to see about a girl, as they say, and that they had conversation and that he decided to go back and be with friends. So I think it's more of a timing issue rather than something that is untrue on either end. I think both can be true as well.
Nolan staff is going to the Mississippi grand jury. The DA said something interesting, that the evidence will not be public until the grand jury reviews it first. The DA says this will affect the integrity of the investigation and that the grand jury will ultimately decide if someone will be charged. Jennifer, do you believe someone could be charged in his death? Is this just accident gone terribly wrong?
Well, with what we know, in other words, review of all the surveillance information we have, with actually getting to hear from one of the witnesses, one of his best friends that was there throughout the situation, listening to the calls that were made, the Coast Guard contact, as well as a riptide situation in that area. When you add it all together, what we see publicly seems to be an accident. Having said that, first there's going to be mentioned 60 witnesses interviewed. I doubt that this, what we know, will come out.
Official statements evolved over the course of the investigation. In the days immediately after the victim was recovered, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office issued language indicating that no foul play was suspected. The phrasing drew sharp online criticism and was later clarified by some sources as reflecting only the absence of immediately obvious signs of trauma or criminal at the scene. Subsequent remarks by Sheriff John Ledbetter and District Attorney Angel Myers McElrath ceased to repeat the categorical assertion and instead emphasized that the investigation remained active and ongoing. The district attorney stated that the limited public commentary was required by professional conduct rules rather than by indifference or concealment. Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch separately warned that threats against investigators or interference with the inquiry would be prosecuted. No public communication from either the sheriff's office or the district attorney's office signaled that arrest warrants were imminent for Bart Edmiston Jr. or any member of the group present on the island. The combination of an undetermined cause of death, the absence of released physical evidence of criminal agency, the consistency of the known timeline with Wells remaining on the island, and the statutory constraints on pre-indictment disclosure accounted for the lack of arrests through the end of July 2026. The investigation continued under the standard Mississippi procedure that channels the completed file to a grand jury for a determination of whether charges should be brought.
We want to move now to the latest in the Nolan Wells case. This afternoon, an attorney is looking to obtain information from all of the 18-year-old's social media accounts, including his messages and posts. That's according to our partners at the Sun Herald. They report attorney Gary Bufkin filed subpoenas from all of his social media accounts and his account on location tracking app Life 360 in hopes of finding more information on what happened before Wells was found dead off the coast of Horn Island in Mississippi. That's after a boating trip with some friends. Some of the information subpoenaed includes IP addresses connected to the account's activity, all passwords, and all conversations. This comes after Bufkin sent intent to sue letters to Wells's friends.
Just moments ago, a critical legal bombshell dropped in the Nolan Wells case. Nolan's family has fired off powerful subpoenas to major tech giants, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Life 360, Snapchat, and TikTok, demanding that every scrap of data tied to Nolan's accounts be locked down and preserved. That includes every message, every interaction, and the complete communication history of anyone who ever spoke with him on those platforms. This aggressive move shines a harsh light on the friends' earlier claims. They insisted they could never touch Nolan's phone because of the password. But what if I told you those same friends could have unlocked it with shocking ease? Even more damning, through their own self-incriminating statements, we can already pin down the exact location and the last person who laid hands on Nolan's phone.
The access water out the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any access water just sitting in the boat, it wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel and I looked at the release hole for the bilge and it was even with the water. So, I mean, the water, I mean, everybody kind of goes out to the island to get away from, you know, their phones and everything else. I know I got on the boat and so, no, I mean, if someone is on their phone in the water, they're using it real quick and they're putting it right back on the boat. We were all waist deep in water.
The pressure is clearly mounting. Under this new legal heat, the friends have gone further, making extreme claims that Nolan wasn't just drinking that night, but using controlled substances.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need to address something real quick before I get to this news that was just presented to me, which could allude to potential foul play against Nolan Wells. And let me just say this right off the bat. There's alcohol involved. What is being told to me that 100% it involved. There's multiple people involved.
Are the friends lying? Who deleted the data? And who is truly connected to Nolan's death? The answers are coming in today's analysis. The family of Nolan Wells, working through attorney Ben Crump and the affiliated firm Carol Bufkin PLLC, has moved aggressively on the civil side to secure digital records. They have publicly voiced concern that messages and other data on Nolan's phone may have been removed or were already missing by the time the device was returned. Christine Wells Wansley, Nolan's mother, has specifically noted the absence of any Snapchat activity from July 4. She has stated that her son routinely posted and updated on the platform that day, making the empty records stand out.
The deleted messages that Christina was going to briefly touch on, we want
Yeah, so
to figure that out.
backtrack on that. When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went into Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious, you know.
In response, The family's legal team issued spoliation and preservation notices to Nolan's friends, their parents, and certain local officials. Those letters directed recipients to retain all data in its original form and to disable any automatic deletion functions. Simultaneously, subpoenas were served through Mississippi State Chancery Court by attorney Gary Bufkin on Meta platforms including Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, as well as on Life360, Snapchat, and TikTok. The demands cover the complete contents of Nolan's accounts, together with records of every individual who ever communicated with him on those services: messages, posts, stories, direct messages, IP addresses tied to login events, location data, friend lists, photographs, videos, and any other stored material. The stated purpose is to freeze the information on the company's servers before routine retention policies purge it, to preserve evidence for a potential civil suit, and to assist law enforcement should investigators determine foul play occurred.
Any images taken for whatever app are going to be stored locally, at least temporarily. So Snap is one of those apps that deletes the picture afterwards. The key here is that when digital files are deleted, the data does not immediately go away. So the data is left intact at least for fractions of a second, sometimes hours, days, weeks. So what they'll find, assuming that they have access to the unencrypted data on the phone, is they will find bits and pieces of old text messages, videos, pictures taken, and that might reveal something that they can timestamp to the event in question, yet the picture is not still in the active files. That would suggest a deletion. Everything that was pushed up to the servers, and as Tatiana pointed out, some of this content is encrypted as it goes through the servers, so they won't be able to see the content on the server, but they'll have a record that an image or a video or a message came through. So what I would be looking at is I would compare what the providers, the servers show, to what's on the phone. And if I find a discrepancy, that would suggest that something has been deleted from the phone. Anybody that had access to the phone could easily delete something on the phone, much harder to delete what's being held on the servers from the phone.
Not press conferences, not grandstanding, not the offshore no-go, but getting the actual data from the phone so they can get real answers to put all the information regarding what happened in context. They will know if anything was posted, if anything was deleted.
By targeting the platforms themselves rather than relying solely on the physical handset, the family seeks data that is far harder to erase completely. Warren Hudson, one of the young men who was with Nolan that day, has given a detailed account in an interview with Officer Tatum. According to Hudson, no member of the group knew Nolan's passcode. None of them touched or attempted to open the phone. At the time, the boat was taking on water, and the engine would not stay trimmed. There was, he said, no reason to examine anyone's device.
Too, like people like to take pictures, and a lot of the pictures you see are on the boat for a reason. And so, no, I mean, if someone is on their phone in the water, they're using it real quick and then putting it right back on the boat. We were all waist deep in water. No one's sitting there scrolling on their phone. I never saw that once. And I've never seen that once. And I've been out the island my whole life. I mean, that's just not something people do. People are on their phones. And everybody has their phone, yes.
The sequence he described is straightforward. Nolan left the phone on the boat along with several other devices. The items were later transferred into Wyatt's truck around 12:30 a.m. On July 5, Javon's mother, whose family is close to the Wells family, arrived at the house where Hudson was staying, accompanied by 8 or 9 other people, and requested the phone. Hudson stated that the group handed it over at once, without argument or delay. One of the young men retrieved it from the truck and gave it to her. Hudson further said he had already informed Christine Wells Wansley that the phone was in their possession before he placed the call to the Coast Guard. The consistent position from the friends is that the device could not be unlocked because they lacked the passcode. A hypothesis circulated widely online suggests that Face ID could have been used to open the phone while Nolan was still alive or immediately afterward, allowing messages to be deleted before the device was locked again. In theory, the biometric system can function if the user's face remains intact, lighting is adequate, and the angle is correct. If the phone was obtained while Nolan was conscious or only recently incapacitated, Face ID might still have worked. Yet several practical obstacles undercut the claim. Hudson's account places the phone on the boat before the group departed the island. Nolan did not take it with him when he stayed behind with Katie McCormack. No public evidence has surfaced showing that anyone successfully unlocked the device with Face ID. Modern iPhones disable Face ID after repeated failures or detected anomalies and then require the passcode. Even if data were deleted from the handset, forensic recovery from the device itself or from the provider's servers, Snapchat, iCloud, and the other platforms, remains possible. The family's decision to subpoena the companies rather than rest solely on the physical phone underscores that server-side records are considered more durable. Christine Wells Wansley has described a different timeline for recovering the device. In an interview with Good Morning America around July 10, she said the family used a location app to track the phone and watched it move through multiple places. When they finally obtained it, she and Nolan's sister checked Snapchat and found 2 accounts belonging to him, yet absolutely nothing. No photos, no videos. She found the emptiness suspicious because Snapchat content typically disappears after roughly 24 hours. Reports differ on who held the phone between July 4 and the moment the family took possession, with some accounts placing the return as late as July 10. The contrast between Hudson's claim that the phone was surrendered voluntarily in the early hours of July 5 and the mother's account of tracking a device that continued to change locations remains one of the sharpest factual discrepancies in the public record. The subpoenas now pending against the social media companies are designed to resolve that discrepancy by producing independent server logs that neither side can alter. Moving on to a more controversial topic about the people who are said to have come into contact with Nolan's phone and have the ability to delete the data inside.
And I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all this chaos. Because we left at 4:30, and there were still just as many people there, if not more, than when we got there.
Was it typical for people to have their phones left on boats, or did they keep their phones in the water?
I mean, everybody kind of goes up to the island to get away from, their phones and everything else. I know I got on the boat to get away from, just the regular world. And no, when you're waist deep in water, no one's carrying their phone in their hand. Especially at Horn Island, the water has been very, very murky because of the rain. And when it's just very risky. If you're gonna have your phone in the water, some people might for a couple minutes and might be taking some pictures of each other.
According to the account of Warren Hudson, Nolan placed the device on the boat along with several others belonging to members of the group. As you heard in the previous part, after the boat departed Horn Island, those items, including Nolan's phone, were transferred into the truck belonging to Wyatt Pyron, the owner of the Triton vessel. That is the first point. So we have Wyatt, the first person who had most access to a telephone. Later that night, around 12:30 a.m., on July 5, a group that included Javon's mother and approximately 8 or 9 other people arrived at the house where Hudson was staying and requested the phone. Hudson stated that one of the young men retrieved it from Pyron's truck and handed it over at once. He characterized the exchange as voluntary and free of any struggle or delay. This is the second point.
So once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And so Wyatt.
So I want to go back.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on that real quick because the phone thing came up at some point. And so was it when you guys got off the boat?
It is worth noting that Christine Wells Wansley and Tashema Hands, who went to retrieve the device, have indicated that they used the Life 360 application to locate it. The positions shown on Snapchat and on Life 360 did not match. The tracking placed the phone at a friend's house. When they arrived, they waited roughly 15 minutes before obtaining it, and someone present stated that the phone was inside Wyatt's truck. Observers have noted that an immediate, uncontested transfer of the kind Hudson described would appear inconsistent with the need to rely on a location application and with the waiting period at the scene. Hudson further maintained that no one in the group opened the phone during the period it remained under their control, that none of them knew Nolan's passcode, and that there was no reason to examine or alter any data while the boat was in difficulty. He also noted that Nolan's car keys had been left at the house where the group had slept the night before July 4 and were never on the boat. Online discussion has focused on 3 individuals as the possible last person to hold the device before it left the friend's possession. Wyatt Pyron appears frequently in these discussions because the remaining items from the boat were placed in his truck, giving him the most direct and prolonged physical custody according to Hudson's timeline. Warren Hudson is named because he has been the most public voice among the friends, because he was present when the group arrived to collect the phone, and because some observers believe he would have known the precise handling of the device during those hours. The way he was the first to speak to the media about the case, coupled with having a family member with legal and investigative knowledge who could help him handle the issues, essentially made him a leader who held all the information and secrets of the group. Bart Edmiston is included less for any documented contact with the phone itself and more because his name surfaces in the CTOW audio recording and because he provided the tow that allowed the group's boat to leave the area near the past island. Just one person previously posted shocking information on Brandon Tatum's YouTube channel that completely contradicted his previous views. Tatum, in numerous interviews with those involved, had maintained that it was an accident, but the new information he provided was entirely different.
I received a DM from someone DMing another person. Now I'm trying to leave these names out because I want to not mess this investigation up. I think law enforcement already have this. That alluded to the fact that, and I messaged this person because I want to talk directly to the person that I saw the DM from. And we haven't talked to this person yet. But the person said in the DM to another kid that is associated, not any of the kids that I interviewed to talk to, but that could be associated to some degree, that knew Nolan, that this person wrote a message saying, me and my husband saw you arguing with Nolan, and to the effect of you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Now, the person did not say they saw a physical altercation. The person did not say what time they saw Nolan and this other person get into an argument.
Officer Tatum has referenced sources who placed Nolan Wells on Horn Island after the Triton boat departed. One account states that Nolan was observed near 6 p.m., well after the vessel left the area around 4:30 p.m., according to witness statements and GPS data. The sources indicate that additional people remained on or near the island at that hour, and that Nolan was among those still present. A direct message has also been described in connection with the same time frame. The message references an argument involving Nolan. The exchange contains no description of physical violence. The estimated timing of the message falls after the group of friends associated with the Triton had already left the island. Separate accounts relayed through the same channels describe Nolan in the water with a young woman. The descriptions characterize the interaction as intimate and, in some versions, as a struggle. The precise nature of the contact remains limited to those characterizations. No further public detail has been provided about the identity of the woman, beyond earlier references to Katie McCormack, or about the exact duration of the encounter. Tatum has stated that he is aware of the names of individuals connected to these observations. He has indicated that his priority is to convey the information to law enforcement investigators before any broader public release. As a result, the identities of the sources and of the people named in the accounts have not been disclosed in open reporting. The available material, therefore, consists of the timeline placement of Nolan after the boat's departure, the existence of a non-violent argument referenced in a direct message, the description of physical contact